Yeah, guys, welcome to the buzz. Obviously, the roundup of the weekend's results, Premier League, and all the incidents, referees, decisions, and various other things, topics to chat about. And obviously, I have put the link in there, guys, for anyone that does want to come in. Welcome to. But the only thing is now I'm sort of making it slightly stricter because I'm obviously going to make sure everyone gives a sort of like briefer chat, talk about what, their opinions of the thing. So it's going to be shorter answers and stuff because otherwise it goes on too long sometimes, these streams, and I'm trying to get it down to maybe an hour or so if I can. So, if anyone does come on, I may just, obviously going to get them to do it briefly, whatever they're going to say about comments and stuff. And also I'll just go through a few of these comments as well before I continue. I've got a couple of guests waiting, but I'll just go through these. It's that Taki Arsenal fan, 18. Big up to you. To you, bro. Thanks for coming in. Brilliant. Luca, of course. Big up to you, Luca. How you doing? Bro? Great to see you in there again. Live chat. And Luca again. Yeah, I'm fine, mate. Cool. No worries. But as I say to my guests, obviously, that are just going to come on, please try and keep it as brief as possible, not obviously too long, because obviously we've got a lot to get through, of course, as well. And, I'm trying to be fair, obviously, but I'm not being like a tyrant or something and trying to stop people do things, talk. But, obviously want to make it a bit fairer if there's more than one person on as well. So, be up to you, Warren, and I'll bring you on, pal, don't worry, very soon. You and Manny, of course, if Manny's waiting as well. I'll bring you both on, lads, and be up to you first, Manny. How you doing, sir, or what?
Yeah, pretty good, thank you. And thanks a lot for explaining everything. And this obviously will affect me because I do have a tendency to be a little bit verbose. I realise that, and so I'm going to try to,
obviously
chop it down a bit.
Fair, I just want to make it fair to everyone, that comes on.
Fine, that's fine.
Get everyone's opinion.
That's
it's the same for everyone, mate.
It's
the same for everyone. So don't worry about it. It's not one rule for one and not for any others, like we know some others do. But but anyway, mate. Great to have you on. Apologies if cutting in there. What were you saying there? Sorry, mate.
I was just saying that obviously I like the fact that you've decided to take some initiative and opt for this scheme of yours, as it were. And I do have a tendency to be a little bit verbose, and obviously I have a lot to say. I explain a lot of things, but it can be a bit of a detriment to the length of these streams, certainly if they go too long, and I realize that. So thank you for this initiative and for filling me in, and I'm going to do my very best to make sure I live up to that.
Yeah, no problems, mate. I'm not saying you can't come on at all. I'm just making sure that we all get a fair talk. Everyone that does come in, and it's not just one person. So.
I'm happy to come on. I'm always happy to come on, and I'm going to make sure that I live up to these new expectations. I'm going to come on, regardless of what happens. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Be up to you, Kev, as well. Evening, lads. Hope you're well. Really enjoyed my trip to the London Stadium on Saturday. Very good win for the Bees. Yeah. Cheers. That's a nice one, mate. I think what did he say? He's a Sunderland fan. So, but I don't know why he's going, well, you're welcome, mate. You want to come and watch us? You're welcome. More the merrier. Because we won, of course, so that was good. It was only 1-0, but probably could have had a few more, but there we go. A win's a win, isn't it? And it's away from home. So another good win away. So just got to get our home form sorted now. But never mind, I'm sure we will. But I will bring my other guest on, and that's Warren. And be up to you, sir. How you doing?
Yeah, good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, cool, mate. Cool. I hope you understand the rules as well. It's it's the same for everyone. It's not. I'm just trying to make sure it doesn't go on and on the show. Because
I know.
I've got things to do as well, guys. So,
well, you don't want to be here till 10 o'clock tonight.
Well,
it's
true.
nearly what's the other night.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, I try not to make it too long. About an hour or so, if possible, if I can. But there are a lot of topics to get through, so I'm not even sure where we're going to start. I mean, I might just start with before we go into the results, because obviously there was a lot of games to get through. We got I'll go through this one to start with, and it's about the VAR thing, the new semi-automatic offside coming in. It's going to be for the FA Cup 5th round. They're going to use it to start with. So what do we think about that, gents? Are we happy to see all this? Is it going to improve what we got now? You would think so. So you want to start, Warren?
Yeah, I was just going to say two things about VAR, right? I used to be strongly in favour of it, right? Until I saw Vinnie Jones talking about it. And one of my real oldest mates spoke to me about it, and I've changed my mind. I want it scrapped. There's always been errors in football, going back from when the game first started. I think they just need to look at the rules about offside in particular. Like, it needs to be clear daylight between the forward and the defender in order for it to be offside. The second thing, which I don't think they do it in England, but they certainly do it in Scotland, right?
Yeah.
After the weekend's games have finished, the head of the referees puts out a report saying about the VAR decisions, why they were made, and all this carry on. And I think it really helps. To be honest, I think he does a presentation or something, and he explains it all. So I just think that sort of thing really helps. But until such time as it's gotten rid of, because I think it needs to be, and it's not the fault of the technology, it's just the way that, you can be offside because your toenail's offside. I just think that's absolutely ridiculous.
It is, yeah.
Where's
the benefit anymore? That's not.
It's not the technology's fault, though, mate. It's the people who are using it and the rules. Because the way the rules are, what VAR is doing is right. But for me, they need to change the rules so that there needs to be clear daylight between the forward player and the defender in order for it to be offside. Because if it isn't, then you're going to get these situations. And I understand it will fundamentally change the game, but it will make it more exciting and more attacking, and there'll be more goals, which is, at the end of the day, we all want, isn't it?
Exactly, yeah. It is. It is. You're right, mate. You're right.
You could have won 4-0 on Saturday.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Change it to suit the bees. Yeah, we love it. Yeah, man.
That's what I think.
Yeah, anyway, Manny, what's your opinion on it all?
Well, I've always been a staunch defender of VAR, and as much as I, completely understand and respect Warren's point of view, there's no way I can completely agree. I do think that wherever possible, we have to try and use the technology, especially, if it means making sure that we avoid any kind of miscarriages of justice, as was seen at Old Trafford, when the ex-Foxes defender scored a goal despite being blatantly in an offside position. And even if there might not have been that much of a daylight distance between him and the defender, he was definitely offside enough to be able to get an advantage. And that proved to be the case. And it was a case of, you know, as Warren says, it's not the technology, it's the officials using it. And obviously VAR wasn't in use that day, but it was just incompetence. And VAR was actually used to try and help the officials do a better job. I think the big problem, though, is that it's been used more of as a crutch for if anything. And I think it's just a case of saying that of referees, well, I can make a mistake, I can, you know, just sort of muck up, but VAR is there to come to my rescue. And I think we're seeing a lot of these VAR decisions being overturned. One thing which I always say is, and this segues into what I was talking about the about how in Scotland a review of the decisions and so why it's made. What I'd like to see is more proactive action. I've talked about this with you, Steve. At the beginning of every, they're going to have to make themselves get together before the start of the season. Make sure that all of these decisions, which can be subject to VAR referrals or what have you, need to be talked about. The guidelines to be, you know, maintained. And it can be a little bit harsh when, you know, I mean, Arsene Wenger's always had this complaint as well, that unless there's daylight between the attacker and if he's that far forward, you can't get an advantage. But the problem is a large number of forwards these days have become so, you know, sneaky, but also very, very smart and very, very speedy that just a little bit of, you know, distance ahead can be enough to give them an advantage. And that is why VAR has been used. A big sort of complaint as well is that if you use VAR a lot more, you take away the romance of the game. And a lot of people have been saying that one thing about the earlier round ties in the FA Cup is that even though mistakes were made, you accept that as a part and parcel of the game. And, you know, the romance is maintained. But as far as I'm concerned, I'd sooner have the integrity of the game maintained, at least a better chance of the integrity of the game being maintained with VAR and sacrificing romance. Because let me tell you one thing. Imagine, if you will, that were a lower league team or a non-league team playing at Old Trafford and they had victory snatched away from them by a goal that should never have been allowed. How do you think going to go down the game? Believe me, that's going to lead to the death of romance right there. So now they've got this technology and they're going to use it from the fifth round onwards. But they're doing this after the fact. And then why can't they consider using this technology in the Premier League when it's already being used elsewhere in Europe? I'll tell you why. Because the Premier League are a bunch of cost cutters, Scrooges, curmudgeons. They're the richest league. We have the richest league in the world, and yet they don't even want to spend the money to make the Premier League better because they love the controversy and they know that controversy sells. And they know that no matter what, they're going to get some viewing figures that go through the roof because people love the controversy and the conflict. I'm sorry, I see, you know, things being done and the integrity being maintained. Or later, you're off a large number of people. That I say you got to use technology, but also have some guidelines established at the beginning of the season as to how the technology should be used. And taking all these steps will ensure that the integrity of the game will be maintained. And I'm sorry I've spoken for a bit too long, but I have to get this off my chest.
Yeah, it's fine, mate. But as I say, we're going to try and keep it as fairly brief as we can. I mean, obviously, I do agree with most of what you're saying there as well, because, I mean, what happened when we didn't have VAR? Was it for the FA Cup, wasn't it? We had it in the FA Cup games and they had all them bad decisions.
Exactly.
How they could give that one that when I thought it went over the line, when it didn't, he pushed it, he saved it before it went over the line. Trying to remember the game now. Was it 2-2, wasn't it, or 3-2 or something? And and they stopped it, and it wasn't all the way over.
Birmingham
the line.
against Newcastle.
Birmingham
Farrell was the goalie, and I think.
Yeah, the ball wasn't all the way over the line, though, was it? And the lines
Exactly.
How could he fucking see that?
You know, when I was watching that game, I do believe that the keeper, Bailey Peacock Farrell, got a hand to it and prevented it from going over the line, but the linesman mucked up.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I'd rather see the integrity of the game maintained more than anything else.
And there was another one, was it? Was it the Harry Maguire one? When he was offside, wasn't he? And headed it in.
I think Steve's having a bit of problem with his Wi-Fi, but Warren, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you fine. There's nothing wrong with Steve's Wi-Fi, though.
I didn't think there is there? No. No, mate, it's got to be yours, man. There's something wrong with yours.
Yeah, it usually happens because this is the big problem, as I've said, with me when I connect on my mobile phone. We didn't have too many problems when we did that stream to get your channel not too long ago, but I will be getting my PC back later this week, so hopefully these shenanigans will be over and done with from my side.
Yeah, about time, mate. Yeah, about time. But yeah, yeah, be up to you, Luca. Yeah. So anyway, let's get getting back to this. Obviously, what was the other one I was saying about that? It was the Harry Maguire one, and he was offside, wasn't he? Headed it in, and that should have been disallowed. It was against Leicester. I think it was against Leicester, wasn't it? Was it Leicester? And he headed it in.
Yep.
So,
yes.
Say something.
Yeah, Leicester.
Go on, mate.
Never all this nonsense with computers and all the rest of it. Why don't they just make the officials better at doing their job? It's not difficult. Do you know what I mean? It's like it's not. And I just think that like there's always been mistakes, and we're human. They're human beings. At the end of the day, human beings make mistakes. They're not robots, right? And like sport, you know, every single sport on the planet has problems with mistakes being made. So I just think they need to train the officials so that
I'll
they
just
can
be right
do
back.
the job to their best of their ability. And they're like, you know, if they're not up to it, it's like any other job. You have to go.
Exactly.
You know, I mean, they're not doing it. These people, especially in the Premier League, they're not doing it like in their spare time and for the love of it. They are getting paid a decent salary to do this job.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, they've got to up their game. And I'm sorry, but the officiating in this country is absolutely shocking.
It is. You go abroad places. I think is it Spain, and that is very good. I believe Spain is pretty good there. Italy, I think, generally pretty good. I believe. But yeah, I mean, over here it's just poor, isn't it? It's terrible.
Poor. And then, but it's not as bad as it is in Scotland. There's like lots of stuff up there. It's very questionable, and about people's preferences for different football clubs come into play and stuff like that. But that's a subject for another stream, mate.
Yeah, definitely. But so you really in favour of this, Warren, or not really bringing this in?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I mean, what I liked was like in that last international tournament, was it a World Cup or Euros that we had recently? The Euros. And the decisions were made like that, rapid, you know. Yeah. But I think more onus should be put on the referees to make the decision. I thought, in my opinion, was that when VAR was brought in, it was just going to be there as an aid. What it's morphed into is it's taken over the job of the referee.
That's right. And they're still getting it.
All the referee has to do is just dish out the cards, and that's about it. And talk to people. He's not, you know, like every second decision has to be verified by VAR. That's not why it was brought in. I remember hearing all the time the phrase "clear and obvious error," but it's not. They're not using it for clear and obvious errors. They're using it for every single decision. Like every time there's a goal, it has to be checked by VAR. Well, no. These people should be watching the video screens, and unless it's absolutely clear that there's been an error, it shouldn't be coming into discussion. Like if it's taken them 10 minutes to make a decision about whether a goal should have stood or not, then clearly it's not a clear and obvious error. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, it's one of the reasons I'm like turning against it, because it's not being used for the purpose it was supposed to be used for.
No, exactly. Do you agree with any of that, Manny? What Warren's just said? Is he there?
So the other thing is about though.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Go on, Manny. Sorry.
Go on, Manny.
No, I'm sorry. I'm sorry for interrupting you. Go ahead. Please finish what you want to say.
No, I was just going to say, I'm going to go back to the point I made earlier about the offsides. I just think that if they changed the rules, there wouldn't be a need for semi-automated offside. Because the problem is, it's wafer thin. It's like that much person is off. Do you know what I mean?
I agree with that, definitely.
Absolutely ridiculous. It's killing the game. It's killing the excitement, because once again, we got another thing that has to be analysed to the nth degree in order for it to be verified that it's a goal or not. I just think it's crazy. So there's clear daylight between the forward and the defender. Like Arsene Wenger said, the games would be more exciting and they'd be easier to referee. Simple as. I just don't understand what the problem is.
Yeah, go on, Manny. What you going to opinion about that? You going to say about that?
Yeah, I don't want to rehash this, but what I will say is that again, I agree that what's happened with VAR is that linesmen officials have used this as a crutch more than a mere aid, and it's like, you know, do you really want to see a situation where technology takes over your job in its entirety? Not necessarily. We just want to see the game being refed fairly, and this is a debate that will continue for quite some time. And I've already said what I wanted to say, and I think we probably should continue. So, listen, I'd like to see this done in the Premier League, and that way we wouldn't have any more offside goal controversies anymore.
Probably, but as I think Warren was saying, I think they just need to be doing their jobs properly, don't they? At the end of the day, they need to be coached and trained properly, these people, to come in and learn how to do it, you know, do their job properly. And I think half of them, these referees as well, think they're superstars. They're in the spotlight. Oh, we're in the middle of the game. We're running the game. You know, it's down to us, these decisions. It is in a way. But, you know, you can't be ahead of the football players. The football players, they're here to watch. Fans are there to watch the footballers, not the referee. You know, it's not the referee, in the spotlight for everyone. You know, let the game run its course and just do the decisions when you have to, when it's important, you know. Exactly,
mate. 100%.
Not bigger than the footballers in the game. So that's what I hate, you know. I think maybe you should scrap VAR. I would say scrap it, because it's not actually working when you think about it. It's not actually working. Just go back to how it was, but get it all trained properly and get them right decisions.
There's one thing that really winds me up at the moment, right? Or two, actually. This business with the corner kicks and players got constantly pushing the envelope about where they can place the ball.
Oh, that's right.
Outside the D. It has to be, the rule says it has to be within the D. And because the ball's like touching the D by an nth degree, they're allowed to get away with it. I'm sorry, but it needs to stop. But the biggest thing is this business that goes on at corners, where there's a wrestling match going on in the penalty area.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but the referee needs to start getting cards out if I was refereeing, I'd like to send at least 2 people off for that.
Well, I'm saying just keep giving penalties. They keep giving penalties. They stop doing it.
Yeah, exactly. Because do you know what I mean? If that happened in the middle of a normal like run of the game, someone would be sent off. You cannot wrestle people to the ground like that. It's not rugby.
Oh, and the thing is, it didn't used to be like that, did it? You used to go and go for the ball. The players used to go for the ball, not try and grab hold of the players to stop them doing it.
I'm going to upset you now, Mr. B.
Yeah.
Right? It's the first time I saw it happened was Brentford against Arsenal when you first got promoted, right? And someone did it to. No, sorry, it wasn't Brentford. It was Spurs against Arsenal the year we went invincible at White Hart Lane when they kept all standing in front of Jens Lehmann because he couldn't. He hated having people standing in front of him, and he would lose the plot. And
he did.
Robbie Keane did it to him. He got upset and he threw a punch. He got sent off. It happened now. He'd get away with it. But it's wrong. It's like it's not in the rules of the game that you're allowed to do that. This is what I'm saying to the officials, mate. They need to implement the rules of the game. They're there.
Goalies get protected too much, as far as I'm concerned, anyway. So,
well, yeah, back in the day, they would get bloody shoulder bars into the net and all sorts.
Was it that Lofthouse and all that used to do all that, didn't they? But put goalie in with the ball and all that, yeah.
But this business for like, you know, WWE bloody going on in the penalty area every time there's a corner, it's helpful that it needs to be clamped down on. And if it was me, I'd be handing out cards, and they wouldn't be yellow either.
Yeah. Well, they're not strict enough, Warren. And they say about all these rules and what they're going to do, and they never implement them properly. They never followed properly. And I think it's wrong anyway. They say all this, what they're going to do, this and that, all fucking load of verbal gas coming out, and nothing's actually done, you know. Yeah. Nothing's actually properly done. So, but I don't think it's going to. I think this is going to come in anyway, and we're going to have it in the FA Cup. We'll probably have it in the Premier eventually. This semi-automated. So, do we give it a trial and see what happens, and just see what happens if it works better? Apparently, it's supposed to cut it out more and be quicker and come to the decision quicker. And help it all. What do you think?
As I've said, Steve, there'll be no controversy over the offside rule if it's used, so there can't be any harm in trying it. But if people are so angry about the guidelines, this has to be decided before every season. I just don't think we'll see the PGMOL doing anything because they don't care. As long as the controversy is there and it sells and it will lead to more money rolling in, they won't care about it. That's true, I'm afraid.
No, so we're not really in favour of it then, gents, really? This rule, this thing?
I don't think it's necessary. I just think that they need to train the officials properly. And if they're not up to the job, get rid of them.
I'm in favour of it. I'm pro VAR for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm pro technology.
But, yeah.
I'm just a Luddite, mate. Mr. V, I'm just a Luddite. I just don't see the need for it.
The thing is, it goes too quick, right? And it actually takes time when they're doing these decisions as well. And it makes it longer. And the game goes into longer at the end, adding on the time. So, if anything, it's made it worse as well with that. So, it's quick. Football is quick, isn't it? It always has been. You've got to make split decisions, quick decisions, just like that.
And it's not like cricket, which is a much slower game, to be honest. Or it's not like tennis, where it's a matter of fact, either the ball is in or it's out. Yeah. Right? Do you know what I mean? Like this, I just don't think if they could make it much easier just by changing the rule, and they wouldn't need the technology. I think it's absolutely ridiculous, and you're going down a very dangerous route with all this technology. I think it's just, I'm very concerned about it.
Yeah. But if it's coming in, we ain't got a lot we can do about it, mate. I'm afraid.
No, that's true.
Suck it and see, I suppose, and just see what happens. But anyway, we're going to move on, and this is another subject, and I'm sure you'll like this one, Warren. You mentioned this one about the going back in time with their new match ball, and I'm sure you'll remember this, Manny, as well, with all this, with obviously Henri there and all that. And using the T90 Nike, obviously.
I see that.
25th anniversary. Is it 25th? Or 25th anniversary, I believe, of Nike. The football. So going back in time with these T90s, were used in the competition during the mid 2000s. The third incarnation of their flight ball series will be used in every game between now and the 25th of May finale, starting with Wednesday's clash between Aston Villa and Liverpool. So you'll be going back to almost those balls that were used back then. And do you think Arteta will be moaning about them, Warren?
No doubt he will. Any excuse that man can use, he will use it. 100%. I'm sick and tired of hearing this man's excuses. That's why I sent it to you, this story to you, because for me, he'll be sitting there looking at this thinking, yes, I can use that. How about actually sending the team out to go and play on the front foot and play with a bit of aggression and like will to win, rather than that absolute lame duck performance that we saw on Saturday lunchtime? It was dire, and they've been playing like this all season, Mr. B. And I'm sick to the back teeth of hearing these idiots on social media, on YouTube channels, backing this absolute nonsense that's never, ever going to deliver anything. It's just a joke. I just want to remind everyone watching this, he's spent £750 million. 90% of it is wasted. And the thing that angers me most about this man is the way that he treats players. For me, he should have been sacked for that alone, right? And banned from ever managing again in football. It's disgusting. It is absolutely disgusting. The way he treated Aubameyang, because his mum, he was trying to look after his mum, who just had a stroke. The way he treated Kieran Tierney when his best friend died. No, I'm sorry, you cannot treat people like that. You look at the way that Alex Ferguson treated Cristiano Ronaldo when his dad died. He came into Ferguson and said, boss, can I have Friday off? And Fergie said to him, well, what do you want Friday off for? He said, my dad's side. And he goes, oh, of course, son, of course. Family's more important. And after that, apparently Fergie never asked anyone why they needed the time off. They come and asked him for time off. Do you know what I mean? I mean, what the difference? And he's not the only manager I've heard doing that. It's like others, the way that Brendan Rodgers treats his players and talks about how you need to look after them and make sure they're all right. I'm sorry, mate, this guy, any excuse that he can use, and this will be another one that's added to his armoury. I'm sick to the back teeth of that man. I hate him with a passion. There's very few people in this world that I actually hate, right? Because I don't like it. I don't like that side of myself and my character, but I hate him. I absolutely can't stand him.
Yeah. Do you concur with that, Danny? Do you concur with all that, Danny? What Warren's just said? You agree with that? think Arteta is a bloody prick. Well, we all know he is.
Yeah, I mean, like, I can really, you know, I can't disagree with any of that.
Mm. Do you
Mate,
think? I mean,
there's
why
a
is it
reason
that-
why I'm completely Arteta out, and I think
Yeah.
Warren's just encapsulated it beautifully. And for the sake of time, I'm not going to say any more, except I completely agree with everything that Warren has said.
Yeah, but why do you have to blame a ball for? I mean, it's your players. It's not the ball. It's it's the way you're doing what you're doing with them, because you're fucking them up, these players, and making them worse and that, and then not getting the results that you want because it's your own.
You know,
fault.
whether it's certain cricketers blaming the weather conditions or, you know, a manager blaming the ball or what have you, I mean, if you're for excuses, you're just exposing your own incompetence. And I think, you know, Warren can cite the example of any famed footballing personalities who've said that. Maybe Cloughie said that back in the day, Lord rest his soul. And,
Yeah,
you know, I think he seems to be that type of person who's very manipulative, very, you know, charming and persuasive. And he's got a lot of people eating out of the palm of his hand, and friends of mine who don't even support Arsenal, but who apparently think that he's doing a fine job. But I tell them, look, you don't see what's going on the way people like Warren and myself do. And I would suggest that you know, go easy on it and try not to, you know, dismiss my own opinions when I'm the one who's pretty much, you know, carrying a stake in all of this.
Manny,
The man just isn't simple. He's in over his head. It's as simple as that. And if he leaves Arsenal, I really can't see any top club going for him. Maybe if he's lucky, Real Sociedad might offer him a job in their, you know, in their backroom staff, or maybe a club even lower, like Elche, perhaps. But you know,
Manny,
it's just another example of how Arteta simply is just, as I said, in over his head. What a ridiculous excuse that is.
Whenever these people ask you or tell you that he's doing a good job, right? Just ask them this one simple question and see what happens. If you say to them, right, let's say the manager of your club was sacked or left his job or resigned or whatever. Anyway, there was a vacancy at your club for a manager. Would you want Arteta or he's gone?
Yeah,
I was just going to say to them, ask them whether they would be happy to take Arteta at their club, because I can guarantee you, I know what the answer is going to be, because I've done this countless times and I haven't come across one person yet who said, yeah, they'd want him. Because I know for a fact that if your manager walked away from Brentford, mate, you wouldn't want him there.
Well, no. We'd take Thomas Frank all day long, mate. We don't want anyone else. I mean, and Arteta's fucking useless. You know, he'd make us worse. We'd go down with him there. He'd take us down.
I think you're right. I'm not joking, mate. I think the only reason that this hasn't happened is because of the amount of money that he's had. But the problem is he's wasted about 90% of it. But anyway.
He has. He's had all that money. Look at what Emery would have done with it. He'd have bloody won you something, I think. If he
Definitely.
had that money.
Definitely.
Yeah. Would have won you about 2 or 3 cups by now, I reckon, trophies. So, but anyway, getting back to the subject of the ball. I mean, the balls are really sort of getting smaller and lighter now, as far as I'm concerned, and they sort of like fly everywhere almost. They're just like, you remember the balls used to be heavy, didn't they? Big balls. And that's, I think, what happened with these old players, why they got their brain issues now, heading those heavy balls, you know.
Used to hurt, mate. Do you remember back in the day when we were at school, mate? If you got hit by one of these balls, you'd know about it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I remember being out, I'm sure you do as well, on a cold winter's day with your shorts and your shirt on. If you got hit, smacked on the leg by one of them balls, Jesus, It'd sting like hell.
Yeah, mate. Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah, and especially you get hit in the nuts as well. It's
I
even
agree,
worse.
Warren.
But,
I mean, as someone who's been smacked in the face more times with those balls, I remember that only too well.
But I mean, you know, you think it must be the issue now with these old players we remember are all having issues with their Alzheimer's and various other things they got now through heading the ball. I mean, do you think these new lighter balls will make a difference with that? Or I mean, they're trying to stop them heading it, aren't they? Well, yeah, young kids and all that, really.
There was talk about only heading the ball like during matches and stuff, wasn't there? But whether that will ever come to pass, I don't know. I mean, it might come one day in the future that like balls not allowed to go above head height.
Yeah.
Remember, like when we used to play five-a-side years ago, like indoors, if you kick the ball above head height, you concede a free kick.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So that might be an answer to it. But then, what if someone does diving header?
Yeah. You go back into remember all them diving heads. Helchin, of course, famous one, Coventry against Spurs, diving header. You remember that? Yeah.
No, I remember seeing Malcolm McDonald score a diving header for Arsenal at Highbury back in the day against Coventry City. And that was years. That was in the 70s, mate.
Yeah.
Probably 76, 77.
I wasn't long born. I wasn't long born then, so I wouldn't really remember it. But but yeah, I remember all that. And big up to you, Del Boy, by the way. Del Boy in here. What's the crack? What's the bleeding story, Del? How's it going, brother? You should come in here, mate. Come in here sometime. Come and join us, you know. Be great if you can. I suppose he's probably working, though, or something. So you can't, but
he's probably got his head in the boiler somewhere.
Yeah, probably. And I see his one he done the other day about talking about what was that one he was talking about the stream he was doing recorded about Havertz and all that. That was it. About him getting injured and all that. And I thought, well, you'd be better off without him, mate. He's fucking useless.
See, now you're touching on another issue. It's about all these injuries. And like you have to question if it's true, and I'm not convinced it is. If it's true, why is it they're all getting injured? Like, if it is, then you have to question whether or not he's overplaying them or he's driving them too hard in training. You know, what's behind it all? You know, but the thing is, he will not accept responsibility for. My
head up my arse.
Yeah, whatever it is, Arteta will not accept responsibility for it. There will be someone else's fault. Because that's what clowns like him do. It's never their fault. You know, you never hear him go, yeah, it was my fault. I shouldn't have done this. I shouldn't have done that. You know?
Yeah. But getting back to this again, it was sort of you know, it's sort of getting there. They are getting lighter the balls, and I don't think it's going to make a difference though, because you still got to head them, and football's about heading it. That's all part of the sport, heading the ball. So for the kids as well, they got to start doing it. But then they're trying to stop them from a certain age, aren't they? Doing it, they're going to do it from like was it 15 or 16 or something?
Yeah, I think so.
But you know, if you take heading out of the game, it's not a game anymore. So I'm concerned, it's not a good game of football. You're there to see you're heading it. You know, that's an art, isn't it? Heading the ball is an art.
You then turn it into a different sport. You're then turning it into like an 11-a-side five-a-side match, aren't you?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because that's what it is. In essence, that's what it'll be. Because, like I said, five-a-side football, like when I was a kid, you weren't allowed to kick it overhead height.
Yeah.
And in order for someone to head it, it would have to go above head height. So you never hardly ever saw anyone header the ball in a five-a-side match.
Yeah, well, I played that as well and played it inside, you know, when you play it on the artificial pitch and whatever, the artificial thing and all that, you know. And, you know, with that light yellow ball or green ball, whatever it was, you know, and it's so much quicker with that, playing that as well, five-a-side. I find it quicker than playing the normal football, you know. So, but it is, yeah, I enjoyed it. But obviously you can't kick it or in the air or head it. So, but that's not a problem. What do you think about all that, Manny? Before we move on, obviously we're going to move on to the scores, the results from the weekend and everything. You got opinion about all that?
Yeah. Yeah, we spoke about this obviously on one of our streams earlier, and I'm thankful that you allowed us to do that because I know we were crunched for time, but it was an important issue. Lightning the balls will help, and you know, another plus is that it will also lead to some spectacular goals being scored. So goalkeepers are not going to be given any mercy at all. But back to the issue as well, I think what's also going to be important is that a large number of people who do have to head the ball for whatever reason, like if you're a centre back, for instance, or a goalkeeper, and you have to rise high for a corner, and you might have an inevitable clash of heads. You know, having one of those protective headgears like Petr Cech used to wear would be good. Now, as fan of what you contemptuously call the egg chasing, Warren and I will also know that, you know, if you're a second rower in rugby union, or what they call the lock, I believe that's what it is, then you are on occasions kind of required to wear some protective headgear for whatever reason, especially in the scrum. Ironically, if you're in the front row where you've got the loose head, and tie head props and the hooker in the middle, none of them wear any protective headgear, but they do actually wrap some bandaging around their ears to prevent their ears from getting smashed and getting what they'd call cauliflower ears. I think protective headgear will be also a plus, and you know, if that can prevent a lot of dreadful head injuries, then that's fine. But sadly, we're also seeing a large number of rugby players suffering from, you know, cases of dementia and what have you. And I do believe we even had, you know, Scotland and Lions legend Tom Smith, Lord rest his soul, pass away not too long ago from similar complications, I think. But anything that can be to protect the health of the players will always be good.
Yeah. And yeah, cheers for that, buddy, putting that on there, Warren. Cheers. And yeah, but also, you know, you see, I think it was Nobby Stoll's family were trying to go at them. Were trying to, because it was apparently they blamed that on him heading the ball. Why he passed away with dementia or whatever he had. I think it was dementia and stuff. Problems with the brain, implications and problems there. And they said, oh, they want to sue him for that because they thought it was that caused it. And they blamed all that. And I think they were trying to sue, weren't they, his family or something, about all that. So, I mean, the thing is, you know, I mean, we know it all went on years ago, and you can't, and it wasn't really thought about back then, I guess. You know, it was just thought of, oh, you got to head the ball because you're a footballer, you're heading the ball, and you don't think too much about it. But then it is about, if you're heading it so much, you know, it has an impact on the brain, doesn't it, on the head? So, you know, I guess and if the balls are heavy, which they were, and hard, you know, it's going to have even more effect on the brain, isn't it? So, I don't know. It's just getting worse with it all because all these great players we remember, they're all passing away through it because of it.
Mm.
And it's horrible. It's horrible to see. What's happening to these great players that we used to remember playing.
Mr. B, do you think it'd be worthwhile the Football Association or FIFA even or UEFA or all three of them getting medical people involved to give them advice about what we should be doing to help this stop happening? Because I think we should, 100%. We should be getting the top people in the field of whatever, to do with brain injuries and stuff, giving them advice about what they should be doing.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. They got to do something, and I think that's a good idea, mate. I agree. Whatever you can do, and also what Manny was saying about wearing protection on the head. It's a bit like what Petr Cech used to wear when he had that.
They don't even do it in boxing, though, do they? Unless it's at the Olympics. So, I just think we need to get medical professionals in who know about these things to explain to the FA and give them some advice about what they should be doing to protect these people. Do you know what I mean? Because I just think, it's not good, is it? It really isn't,
Well, of course it's not, but I hope they do because it's gonna carry on, isn't it? It's gonna happen. We're gonna keep hearing all these stories of these great players, legends of the game passing away because of dementia or whatever to do with it heading of the ball. It's horrible, and you might get it when you see these younger players now or whatever in the future. They may have issues to do with it as well. So I think it's best to nip it in the bud now and get it sorted now, isn't it? Why it's so fresh in everyone's minds and what it's doing, and don't just brush it under the carpet. Really, make it something that is serious, as we know it is serious. So get it sorted, please. But we will move on because we're obviously going on to the matches that were played recently, and of course the last Merseyside derby at Goodison Park last Wednesday. Hell of a game, great game. Everton 2, Liverpool 2, and then XB got the equaliser. Tarkowski never scored a goal like that for us, but yeah. This was some game, lads, wasn't it? I thought it was a great advertisement for the Premier League, and one of the better Merseyside derbies because sometimes they're a bit boring and shit, aren't they? That nothing happens. So, did you both watch this?
No.
Oh,
there was another important game going on that night.
Of course, yeah. Of course there was, wasn't there? Yeah. But no, I watched this actually. I thought it was a hell of a game, incredible game. Did you see much of it, Manny, or highlights or anything?
Quite a bit, and all I can say is that it was a classic derby, but if you ask quite a few Liverpool fans, they'll make it crystal clear that Michael Oliver is now their bet and wire. And all I can say as Arsenal fans is welcome to our lives, boys. That bloke has been responsible for a lot of, ill that has, befallen us. But, we're not going to simply go around and, blame the referee. Sometimes you've got to look at games when, if you lose, if you concede a goal to drop points, then you've got to take a look at your game management and say that you just weren't able to close it out. But again, we all know Liverpool. They suffer a small setback or two, and they end up, going on a bit of a run. And, they're just going to keep on doing what they have to do, and we have to keep doing what we have to do. And, of course, speaking of Oliver, the news was that that's recently come out is that we've been fined 65,000 quid for our behaviour that day at view. And there have been some YouTube, one of whom, in fact, is a qualified referee, who made it crystal clear that Miles Lewis-Skelly deserved to be sent off because it was borderline dangerous play. And I still believe that the only reason why we won the appeal and had Lewis-Skelly come back in and make an idiot of himself against Manchester City with that stupid celebration was that there was so much pressure, so much nastiness from Arsenal's side that the PGML probably felt that they had to give in. But the more you see that tackle, the horrible it was. And our behaviour that day was shocking. And but again, Oliver doesn't do himself any favours, and he certainly hasn't. He certainly didn't do himself too many favours among Liverpool fans. But Liverpool have just got to, suck it up and move on. And credit to Everton under David Moore, improve and play better football, but they're getting results, so good for them.
Yeah, definitely. But this
big up Luca for mentioning that, by the way. I'm glad I got back to that.
Luca, yeah, but I think this was a better point for Everton, obviously, at the end of the day, and they needed it, and of course they won again. They won the other day.
I'll be back, Steve.
Yeah, no worries. They're on a little bit of a run, aren't they, Everton? And they're going well. I keep thinking they're going to be in the shit every season. They're going to be down there, relegation zone. But I've been proved wrong every time, Warren. They got rid of Daesh, but now they brought the Messiahs back in Moyes, to save them, isn't
he? He looks refreshed. He's taken time out, had a bit of a rest, and he's come back and he looks revitalised again.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because there was a couple of years there when he was at West Ham where they were like pushing for Champions League spots.
Yeah.
So he's clearly a good manager. Do you know what I mean? Because I was at one point a few years ago when it was getting a bit icky at Celtic, I was calling for him to come back to Celtic.
Oh, yeah, he had a spell there, didn't he? Yeah.
He was a player there, yeah.
Mm.
He worked under Billy McNeil and whatnot. So, yeah, I was calling for it. But I don't think it'll ever happen. I think after this stint, I think he'll hang his boots up, to be honest, so to speak. But
retirement. I mean, we know some of them go on longer, don't they? Like Roy Hodgson has gone a long time. Warnock, of course, I think he was managing recently as well. He's about 80 odd, isn't he?
Barry Fry.
Barry Fry, yeah. Was it Barnet, Peterborough, and all that? He was out, wasn't he?
Did you ever see him when he was did you ever play Peterborough when you were watching Brentford?
Yeah.
Did he ever run down the touchline? He had this thing where he used to run up and down the touchline when they scored a goal.
Yeah, I see it live when I was there. Robin, and I see him like disappearing down the tunnel there and coming back and whatever.
I didn't know he was a player at Manchester United.
Was he?
Yeah, I've got podcasts of him, and I have to send it to you because it's fascinating hearing him talking about his playing career and whatnot.
Character, Barry Fry. I mean, yeah, he's still around. Is he 80 odd now? I mean, he's got to be saying that.
I saw this YouTube video, right? It's him like in his kid's face, screaming like at him. It was absolutely hilarious.
Yeah. I always remember that people, Barry Fry, I remember all that,
They don't make him like him anymore. One of my mates, he used to play for Wimbledon, right? And I showed it to him, and he's going, no. He reckoned, he wouldn't tell me who it was, but he reckoned he had a couple of managers who used to scream like that.
Oh, good. No, he's another character. He was, and
mate, definitely.
Shame a lot of them have gone out of it, unfortunately, out of the game.
Yeah, it's sad, really.
I'll be back
there's
against
no
it.
characters. There's we had that discussion the other day, and I was going on about Pepe.
Yeah.
Pepe would never work in football as it is now because they won't allow Mavericks just to go out on the pitch and do stuff. But the problem with that is if you've got a really tight defence against someone, playing up against a team with a really tight defence, Pepe is exactly the sort of player you need to unlock them. Because I'm convinced that he never knew what he was going to do from 1 minute to the next. Never mind his own teammates or the opposition.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? He's like an old school genius football player. It would just do mad stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just mental. But yeah, this was horrific.
Yeah.
That man, that Everton player, went over to the Liverpool fans. He should be facing a lengthy ban, in my opinion.
Oh, for sure, mate. That was stupid. It really was.
Well, it could have caused a riot, mate.
Exactly. Well, it did pretty much, didn't it? Well, three of them were
serious crowd disorder. Do you know what I mean? It really could. But Christ, if he'd been playing for Celtic or Rangers and done that at an Old Firm game, Jesus Christ, there would have been deaths.
Kicked off, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Oh, definite. But the thing is, we're not allowed to have opposition fans in the grounds at Old Firm matches at the moment. So, but it would have got really nasty.
Yeah, it would have definitely got that. What about Brighton? Oh, I think I said this one. I called this one, didn't I, Warren?
You did, mate.
Chelsea 3-0.
I was shocked because I said Chelsea would win it, but they got battered. And this is a week after Brighton got slapped 7-0 by Forest.
Yeah.
It just don't make any sense to me.
It doesn't. It's fucking nuts, mate. It's confused.com. You know, it really is. And how they, get slapped 7-0 and then come back and win. But they deserved it, Brighton. I think they're still a good team. I mean, there's, no shame in, well, there is shame in losing 7-0, but against the Forest team that are, flying high, although they lost the other day, as we know, Forest. So, but yeah, I think Chelsea has sort of regressed, haven't they? They've gone backwards, you would say, from what they were doing.
What's going on with them, mate? I mean, they seem to be very inconsistent. Don't you think?
Oh, for sure, yeah. Yeah, what do you make, Manny?
That Matoma, he's a quality player. But the thing is, Brighton, I don't know how they do it, but they keep finding these gems, don't they? They're unearthing these brilliant players.
Yeah,
it's
brilliant.
the scouting, Warren. I think they've got to find.
Well, yeah, no, I know, but
and they.
Yeah, go on, Manny. I'm gonna say.
Yeah, but as I was saying, I mean, Brighton do have a knack of picking some fine players, and I think the scouting definitely does have a lot to do with it. And we're seeing a lot of these, middle of the road clubs, picking some players which turn out to be gems. You take a look at Patrick's son, Justin. I mean, everybody thought that, with his problems, he was done and dusted. But now he's rejuvenated. He's back in the Dutch squad. He's setting the Premier League alight. And the cherries are flying high. As the Seagulls now with 2 consecutive wins over Chelsea after being slapped by Forest. But then let's not forget, almost slapped Forest 5-0 at the City ground. So, you've got this sort of an up and down, topsy-turvy sort of league season. And I think Kenny Cann, our good mate, pretty much nailed it when he said that the main reason why we're second right now is because the other teams in the Premiership are so leading inconsistent, it's scary. And that segues into Chelsea right now. Let's not forget this manager, Maresca, had Leicester at the top of the Championship midway through the season, and they were playing some scintillating football. But they went through a very bad slump close to the end, and somehow they managed to find a bit of a second wind and sputter and stutter and stammer over the line to win the championship trophy. It's a case of history repeating itself. And now, of course, he's made a decisive decision to do away with Bobby Sanchez and make, Philip Jorgensen his goalkeeper. But to be brutally honest, I take a look at him and I don't see much difference between him and Sanchez. And when he starts dropping a few clangers, which will be soon in the Premiership, everyone will be hoping and praying that Bobby comes back. And, I don't even know if he's settled enough defence. I don't think they're maintaining their concentration. I think the decision to give Enzo Fernandez the captaincy was not really the best decision. His antics at the Copa America were very controversial, distasteful and disgraceful, I would say. But there just doesn't seem to be anything right. And I do wonder if the Mudrak scandal and subsequent ban has kind of hurt the chemistry of Chelsea a little bit, the harmony, the unity. I'm not too sure. But as an Arsenal fan, I'll never feel sympathy for Chelsea. And I curse the idiots in our board who are responsible for getting all those Chelsea rejects to join our club. David Luiz, Willian, and now Georgie Porgy, Kai Havertz, Raheem, the Nightmare, Sterling. The list goes on.
Yeah, he was fucking useless the other day, Sterling, wasn't he? Oh, fucking terrible. What a waste, man. Waste of money.
Sterling lost without you.
Yeah. I mean, was he 30 now? And he still ain't gone anywhere, has he? He ain't improved. He stayed where he is. He hasn't moved on. And what's it? I think you're only getting him because are they still paying for his wages or something, Chelsea? Or are you paying half for him as well, or paying some money for him as well?
We're paying a share of it. I think that's the deal. But
exactly.
I just don't want him here. I don't see the point of signing him. I don't see the point of him being here. I just think it was a massive mistake. And whoever was responsible for signing him should be sacked.
Well, it's probably Arteta then, isn't it? But he won't be sacked because he never fucking is. He keeps going and going.
He's on the recruitment panel for these players. So these people saying, it's not his fault. Sorry, well, he's on the panel that decides who we're going to sign and who we're not going to sign. So, yeah, it is his fault. So, yet again, another thing to pin on his door.
Mm-hmm.
It's just failure in every single aspect of the job. He's just not up to the bloody job. End of story. He needs to go.
Yeah.
Anyway, can we go on to the next one, Mr. B?
Yeah, we will. Yeah, we're getting there, Warren, and it is that one. Yeah. Chance for you two fellas to have a real moan again about this. So, well, you won. You did win. You can't moan. Can you moan that much about it? You won.
I think you can, but I'll let Manny go first.
A new striker there, apparently, up front.
Oh, boy. It's repeating itself yet again. Eddie Nketiah, gentlemen. The worst is Eddie Nketiah ended up making a name for himself in that season when when Arteta, I should say, exiled Aubameyang and didn't even bother to get a proper replacement. Who needs a replacement? Eddie Nketiah. Your defence will be in trouble with Nketiah in the room.
Cool.
Like bollocks it was. I'm sorry for the swearing. And the worst part is, we go to this relegation-threatened team on their patch, and we labour for the best part of 80 minutes. We do create some chances, but Matt Hansen once again proves why he's the Herminator for me. Quality performance again, and that's to do defend with spirit. I think losing James Justin to injury didn't help them at all. And eventually, somehow, we find a goal from nowhere. One thing I will say about this chap, the new M&M, is that for all the justified criticism of his play, he does have a knack for scoring some very consequential goals. And I can't think of any more consequential goal, and I told you this, Steve, in the chat, than that golden goal he scored against Germany in the quarterfinals of the Euros. And that was a sickener for Germany because they knocked out of their own. Spain went on to win. Who knows what would have happened if that game had gone to penalties? Yeah, who knows what would have happened if that game had gone to penalties, but Mourinho stood up and took his chance. And, he popped up again with a quality. He popped up again with a quality-headed goal, a well-taken headed goal, and then found himself in space for the second. Now there's been talk about him possibly, being used as a striker for the next few games. And yet, just as with Nketiah, we may see him get the number 14 shirt next season and a subsequent raise in salary. And people are now serenading him, saying, who needs a striker when you've got Mikel Merino, Eminem? For heaven's sake, you imbeciles. It's against a relegation-threatened Leicester team. Next time we play top-quality opposition, he'll draw a blank. I wouldn't be surprised if Graham Potter leads his West Ham team to, end up blocking Merino out when they come over to the Emirates. And last season, they beat us 2-0, mind you. And everything that's happened and there's another reason why we will never be taken seriously as a fan base, why Arsenal will never be taken seriously as a quality team, and why we're still not going to win anything. To even think that Mikel Merino will be the answer to your problem, it's a flash in the pan, for Pete's sake. I mean, maybe he can pop up here and there and score a goal, but to expect him to do it again and again and again is just stupidity. And once again, we see that with Bukayo Saka out for the whole season now because he had a setback in his recovery from his hamstring tear, and out for the season. I don't know if Trossard was able to do himself justice as a false nine. We just do not have a proper squad, and we do not have a proper manager to be able to get the results we need. And we know that this result was lucky. And yet, as with Bournemouth, people are going to say, stuff of champions, winning ugly and all that rubbish. Wind it in. We're still second in the league. We're still 7 points behind Liverpool. Just don't start counting your chickens loudly and saying all of this is going to happen. These people make me sick. I love Arsenal, but I hate the fan base sometimes.
Exactly, yeah. They are pretty bad, aren't they? At least you got one Mikel that's any good there anyway. At least you can say that with that scorer there.
I'll be back.
2 goals. So, really, what is he? He's really midfielder, isn't he? Merino. He's actually a midfielder, isn't he?
He is, mate.
He's gone, but yeah, is he a midfielder? Is he a defensive or central? Where he is?
He's a midfield player. He's a central midfield player. But the thing is, mate, should we be in a position where we're having to play a midfielder as a striker?
Yeah.
After this man has been given £750 million to spend.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but it's not acceptable. Just get that man's fucking face off the screen. I'm going to fucking smash him fucking in.
yeah. Send the crazy on him, mate. Send the crazy on him.
I fucking hate him. Right, £750 million that geezer's spent.
Yeah.
And he's wasted 90% of it. And that is why we're having to play a central midfield player as a striker. This sort of thing that happens in a lower league, a lower bottom half of the table, League Two club. Not a team that's supposedly going for a Premier League title. We should have a squad where we've got 4 strikers. It's just absolute shit show. Like, I'm sick to the back teeth of this constant nonsense surrounding this manager and this club and this half-assed, or not even half-assed, patch it up attitude. Couldn't care less attitude from the owners, couldn't care less attitude from the board, the fans backing it because they fancy the bloody manager. And that's what it is, mate. They fancy him. There is no other reason that I can think of why this manager is getting the backing and protection from the fan base that he is. 90% of them fancy him. They want to get inside his pants. It's an absolute joke. What other reason could it be? He never won anything as a player. He was like bang average player. He never got any international caps as a player. Why? Why is he getting all this backing? He's never won. He's won one FA Cup with another man's squad. He spent £750 million in the transfer market, wasted 90% of it. He treats players like absolute dog shit.
That's right.
Like constantly bottling things, season after season after season after season. He's now been here 5 years and he's not won one single trophy in that time. Like I said, except for an FA Cup that he won with another man's squad. Mate, I can't stand the man. This club has gone backwards under his reign.
Exactly.
Right? We're no closer to winning a league title or a Champions League under this manager than what we were the day that he was appointed. And he's been given £750 million to spend in the transfer market in those 5 years. It's a fucking shit show. The club is a mess, right? Mr. B, I've been supporting Arsenal since 1972. My first game was against Liverpool on the 5th of September or whenever it was in 1972, right?
Yeah.
In that time, I've seen Arsenal nearly get relegated a couple of times, right? In that time, I have never, ever in my life, where I've been supporting Arsenal, seen the club in such a mess as it is now.
Yeah.
In fact, if they got the right people in, I'd conservatively estimate it would take at least 5 years to sort this mess out.
Yeah,
because it's a mess. No one knows what they're doing. No one gives a shit. It's from the top down. The owners. No one's holding this manager to account. Who is holding Arteta to account? All these people saying, well, yeah, they're giving him the money. That is not enough. Someone needs to be holding him to account. Any organisation that's worth its salt, people in positions who are employed, they're held to account by their superior. Why is this not happening at Arsenal? Like whenever you've been working, Mr. B, in different jobs, I'm sure you're held to account by your manager. Something goes wrong, they'll call you in and say, why did that happen? Why did you do this? Why did you say that? Am I right or am I wrong?
You're right, mate. You're right. Spot on.
So why is it not happening at Arsenal? Why is this manager being allowed to do whatever he wants? Why is it that his ex-PA is now going to be his boss?
No, it's not
This
right.
geezer is going to be his boss. Used to go around managing his diary and making cups and tea and coffee for the guys' visitors or the people he's having meetings with. Mate, it's a fucking joke. You couldn't make it up.
Show, isn't it? Yeah.
It's a fucking shit show. This carries on the way. No one wants to come to play for him. Like every time we go in for a play, no, I don't want to go.
Yeah, you don't blame him.
Times this has happened, right?
Yeah.
If this continues like this, and this manager fails to fucking deliver year in, year on, the way it has been, Saka will go. Declan Rice will go. All the players that have got ambition will leave, right?
And he's going,
and it won't be long before these clubs fucking starting to slide down the table.
Gabriel, he'll go.
I'm telling you now, they will be relegated at some point in the future if he's allowed to stay. I'm seriously concerned about the future of this club. That's notwithstanding the concerns I've got about the owners and what they're up to. Because I think there's something seriously going on in the background about what they're planning to do with the club.
Yeah.
And you've heard me talk about this before, mate, and I'm not going to go into it again.
I get where you're coming from, mate. I feel your pain, mate. I really do. It is terrible. But obviously, we want to try and get back to this, though, Warren.
Sorry, I've really gone off on one, and I shouldn't have done. I'm sorry, mate.
We know the situation with him. We know the clown should be leaving the circus, but he ain't. They ain't got rid of him yet. But, but getting back to this, let's look at the positives. There are some. You got this young man, Wanyeri. What a class act, mate. A quality baller, isn't he?
Well, he'll get ruined. He stays at Arsenal, he'll be ruined. He'll be overcome, just like Saka. Exactly the same thing happened to him as what's happened to Saka. He's fucking destroyed Saka.
Mm.
Look at him. He's like, he can't stay fit now.
That's why he's injured. Why Saka's injured, because he keeps fucking playing him. But you won't stop playing him. Got to rest him. You had to rest him. He's only a young man still. What the fuck's he doing, Keep playing him, slogging him to death like a slave,
The man, this is the problem, Mr. B. This is what happens when you employ people who've got no experience. I just can't understand why people can't see this. Like George Graham would never have done this. He didn't do it to Rocky Rocastle or Michael Thomas or all the other players in that great team that we had.
No.
It's
not
on, it's wrong. It's
Wenger
disgusting. You're treating these people like fucking dogs. It's fucking outrageous.
He's got to be the worst manager you've ever had, surely.
Oh, 100%, mate. Well, certainly the worst manager I've ever seen at Arsenal. By a fucking distance.
I mean,
if he'd been managing,
I'm sure Warren has seen.
If he'd been managing that Arsenal team in 74, 75, they would have been relegated, 100%.
Yeah. Well, you had some better managers. Terry Neal. He
got us to 3 cup finals on the 4 cup finals in 3 years.
Yeah.
This fucking clown ain't going to do that.
And who's the others you had? You had
George Graham.
George Graham, yeah. I remember George Graham, and I remember obviously the more recent, but going back, what was it like 60s, 70s? You had Terry Neal, and you had who's the other guy? Bertie Mee, yeah, that's it. Bertie
Won
Mee,
Arsenal's first ever European trophy. Then after him, I think it was Terry Neal after Bertie Mee. Then after Terry Neal, it was Don Howe, and then we had I think we had, what's his face, Bruce Rioch.
Oh, yeah, he didn't last, did he, really?
Yeah, George was there, and then we had like a caretaker guy for a while. Theo, oh God, what was his name?
Houston, you had him there for a while, didn't you?
Yeah, Stuart Houston.
Yeah.
So, yeah, mate, he's worse than all of them. I just can't understand why he's getting this back in. It just annoys me intensely. That's why I get so angry about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I bet, mate. But, getting back to this, I know Manny won't like me for saying this, but I think Wanyeri and Lewis Skelly should get in the England team. I know you're sorry, Manny. I know you don't like it. You don't want that. You don't see it, can't see it happening. But
they should definitely be in the squad. Getting used to being in and around these players and whatnot. Whether they get a start or not, I don't know. But certainly be around the squad and, maybe come on as a sub or something. Why not? Do you know what I mean? But, as far as their long-term future is concerned, I'll be worried about it.
Yeah. But I think they should be in. You've got to get younger players in, these experienced players, so-called big players, ain't done it for so long for England. They've been shit. And they fucking let them carry on.
Steve. You talk about this.
No worries. And then they let them carry on and they keep fucking up every time. The likes of Harry Maguire and whatever and else, Pickford in goal and all that. I can't stand Pickford. I know he's good for Everton, but, well, yeah, he's all right for Everton. He plays well for England sometimes, but I don't think he's that great. And he's a poser. He stays on the ball and holds on to the ball so long. And he fouls. He done fucking Van Dijk. You remember that? When he done him, he got him out for 2 seasons or season or something.
See, for me, I just think it's like the standard of football is going down, and it's been going down for a while. When I think back to the great players that were around in the 80s and compare it with what's on the thing now, I'm looking at Ollie Watkins there on the screen.
Well, quality. Brilliant.
Well, he has quality at the moment, but would you pick him ahead of, say, Paolo Rossi or fucking Gerd Muller or Karl-Heinz Rummenigge or fucking Kenny Dalglish or fucking Kevin Keegan or when they were at their peak? Because I fucking wouldn't.
Because they were longer ago than in those like 80s, 70s, 80s, whatever.
Well, this is what I'm talking about, mate. That's the point I'm making. I'm making the standard of football has fucking gone through the floor. It's shit. These teams, if they were playing in the 70s and 80s, they were in the Premier League. They wouldn't be in fucking League One, let alone fucking Championship. It's dog shit, mate. The football's crap. It's boring. It's negative.
It is. They go backwards now to go forwards. I think it's so negative, you know. It really is negative now.
It's like that discussion we had about it when you was on my channel there a few weeks ago talking about your life as a football fan. Do you know what I mean? Just like it's nowhere near the levels it was years ago.
No.
It ain't. Do you know what I mean? It seriously isn't.
I used to get excited. Not anymore. I was getting excited when I was a youngster going to see the game because loads of things were happening. It was all going on, you know, all kicking off. But now it's boring, negative.
It's negative. I can't bear watching it, mate. I hate it. Like, you know, back in the day, you had like Batistuta, Maradona, and fucking all these fucking world-class players, proper footballers.
Yeah, mate, yeah.
You know what I mean? But look at it, the state of it. It's awful.
Yeah. It's, I don't know. Half of these are overpaid anyway, fucking paid and shit. No good.
I don't know. Ben White, who can't even bear to watch football. How's he supposed to fucking improve his game if he's not going to study videos of other players playing back in the day? Yeah. If I was his manager, I'd be wanting him to look at fucking videos of Paolo Maldini.
Yeah.
Probably the best fullback ever to have played the game. Do you know what I mean? And he doesn't even want to. No, man, he's fucking wrong. And he doesn't even like playing for his own country. And that alone, it's like, no, he's another one that I don't like. One of the first things I'd do if I was manager of that team is put him on the transfer list.
Yeah.
I'd rather have a player in that team who wanted to play and learn and develop than someone like that.
Yeah, for sure, 100%. But anyway, we've got to move on. Obviously, this is a good point for Ipswich at the end of the day against Villa.
It was.
And I don't think was Emmy in goal. He was in goal when he Manny Martinez was in goal, wasn't he? For this one.
He was, and listen, he didn't have a bad game. It was a well taken goal. Ipswich had a guy named Palmer in goal who ended up being Aston Villa's bugbear. And this result, along with their defeat to Wolverhampton Wanderers, is proof that Aston Villa won't qualify for Europe via the league position unless they have a really, really big run between now and May and some other teams start to fade away. of course, this will segue into the fact that maybe Forest are starting to fade away a little bit, and other teams will probably fade away as the business end comes. And Emery does have a good knack of being able to get the team on a really good run near the end. He's done it twice already in 2 seasons with Villa. But I think Villa were, in many ways, the better team. They had more of the chances, should have put a lot of things away. But again, Villa have so many failings. Whenever things don't go their way, they start to lose confidence. They start to act up a little bit. They do get fouled a lot. And once again, they have, it seems almost every time they play, they have one player getting injured. This time it was Boubacar Kamara, who was playing as a makeshift centre-back, but then Tyrone Mings came on in his place. And it's like, you know, injuries really don't help them, but every single club has to deal with injuries. We're dealing with injuries. Aston Villa need to sort of continue to try and manage the responsibilities of playing in the Champions League and also the Premiership and the FA Cup. And credit to them, I think they're still doing well in the FA Cup. They've got an easier time against Cardiff City coming up. They should do well in the round of 16 against whoever they face. It might be a slightly inferior opposition, and they could make it to the quarters or maybe even the semis.
Of what,
and they've done a better job of managing that than Newcastle did.
Yeah, but what are you talking about, Manny?
Is it the Europa Conference you're on about, or is it Europa Conference or Champions League? Not Champions League.
Talking about
I couldn't hear what you were saying.
Are they in the Champions League or are they in the?
Yeah, they are.
Oh, of course.
Champions League.
Yeah, they qualified, didn't they? Yeah, they got through.
Is he talking about that, or is he talking?
They're
about
in the Champions.
Well, what one, mate?
He's all about Champions League, I think.
Well, they keep playing like that. They were.
Yeah, they're in the Champions League and they're into the 5th round of the. I think.
Yeah, it keeps going, but
yeah, I'll have to try out, but okay. No.
Yeah, but anyway, you know, two good goal scorers here, Watkins and Delap. I rate that Delap as well. You know, I think he's good. He's a good young player. Was it Rory Delap's son, of course? And you know, he's quality.
Yeah, I mean, I heard what Warren was saying about Watkins, and obviously he has a point because, you know, back in the day. Now, back in the day, obviously, you know, you Tegan and Rossi and that ilk of strikers, they were just. And Watkins is sort of on. He's 29, probably should be kind of at the peak of his career, but I mean, he's never going to be the type of Harry Kane striker. He's more someone who's a little bit more, you know, lethal, supposedly with his speed and ability to get into positions. But he did wonderfully well last season. This season, I think we're seeing a bit of diminishing output from him. We'll have to see if he can maintain that. I mean, we'll have to see if he can get back to that in these coming weeks and months. And I think Villa will depend on that as well.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but I don't think there's any chance for Ipswich to you staying up. I think they're a good team, but I just sadly I think they're going to go down. It was a good point from here, but you know they've got a lot more to do. They got I can't see them, you know, staying up. I think they go down probably with Southampton, and maybe could be Leicester, possibly Leicester or Wolves. I reckon that'll be the other one.
I think it's Southampton and Leicester are nailed on. I just don't see them surviving. Both of them are really poor.
Yeah, definitely. As I say, if the Ipswich go down, we'll take Delap off them, mate. You know, because I do rate that man. You know, I think he's good. He's a good player. Really do. So, sorry, Ipswich, we're going to plunder one of your players. I'm afraid, like you used to plunder ours a lot. You know, So we do that with you. Yeah. Anyway, you got to go, mate. 7. No worries. We go as long as we can, and you can, give your opinions as long as you're here. And what about this one, Fulham and Forest? Yeah, great win for Fulham against an informed Forest team. But I rate Fulham.
Yeah, Warren, you can take this one. I'll be right back.
Yeah, go on, mate. ESR, mate. ESR. Another team.
See,
scoring again.
It's another one, isn't it? His career's like taking off after getting away from Arteta. But this was a game that we both spoke about the other day, wasn't it? How it was going to be a tight game and it could go either way. And I think I predicted a 2-2, and I think you may have gone for a Forest win.
Yeah.
So we were right, mate. We were right. Not necessarily the score, but the fact that it was a really tight game, and it, so they did well to win it, because Forest have been in brilliant form.
They sure have. Man.
The fella Chris Wood is scoring again, mate.
Yeah. Good old Woody, mate, from the old sheep country in New Zealand. Yeah. Sheep shearers, mate.
Kiwi.
Yeah. He's doing well. I mean, no one we'd take, mate. Another one. He knows where the gold is, doesn't he? I know he's not the quickest, but he knows where the gold is. So.
But he looks like a rugby player, doesn't he?
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest about it. Do you know what I mean? He does. He's big and he's strong and he's powerful. You can tell that he probably played rugby when he was a kid, I would have thought.
Yeah, I would think so. But,
especially
he's class, mate.
Rugby's massive there. It really is. It's like football is in this country.
Yeah. Well, you got also the All Blacks there and everything, isn't it? So, yeah, the All Blacks, mate, brilliant they were, weren't they? They still are.
I remember I was out there years ago, mate, and there was a test match on between New Zealand, I think it was South Africa or someone, I don't know. But there was like a shopping centre, right?
Yeah.
And there was a TV shop, right? And all these fellas, they had the match on the TVs in the shop. And all these fellas stood outside the TV shop looking in the window and watching the match. There must be like 20 geezers all stood around outside the shop watching the match on the telly.
Yeah, I know. It's big over there, isn't it? But
massive.
Yeah, man. And the egg chasing, but I suppose they obviously love their football as well. So, but yeah, he's a great player, and
he is. To be honest,
you still score goals. It don't matter, does it? So, Traore as well. Oh, that brick shithouse, mate. He's come good, hasn't he? I think Traore. I think one stage he weren't doing well, but now he's
rapid, mate. When he gets on his bike, he is rapid, isn't he?
Yeah, he's rapid. Yeah, he's built like a fucking brick shithouse as well, isn't he? I mean, it's fucking massive, man. Yeah, he must be fucking nightmare to try and mark or stop, in full flight. He's quality, man. And, and then, of course, as you say, ESR, better another team under a better manager.
Well, no surprise there, is there?
And Shirley Bassey scored as well. I mean, Calvin Bassey. He was ex-Rangers, wasn't he? Was he Rangers?
Probably. I try not to think about them too much. Like I said to you the other day, I really hope that you get European football and that you absolutely batter them. That would just make my day.
I hope so, mate. But yeah, and Do you want to say anything about this one, Manny? Before we move on, Warren's got to go soon, isn't you, mate? But don't worry about it. We'll see what we can do. How many more we can get
just
through.
very.
Yeah.
I mean, talking more about the ex-Gunners who shone for Fulham, because Warren said it. You both said it perfectly. And don't forget, Willian's back. Was pants with us, but he did well at Fulham, and now he's back there. Just couldn't stay away from the Cottons. And I don't know if this could necessarily be the start of, Forest starting to dip a little bit. It could potentially be, and we see this happen with many teams who start well and have purple patches, but then they end up having a slump at the worst possible time, and they end up finishing in mid-table or even lower. I don't know if that's necessarily going to happen. With Fulham, I'm not too surprised with this, because Fulham have a knack of, coming a cropper against teams they're expected to beat. And then when it comes to higher ranking teams, they absolutely shine. And, Marco Silva has some sort of a silver touch, maybe. But, all I can say is long may it continue. And I'm not looking forward to seeing Fulham come to the Emirates, because if Emil Smith Rowe, Alex Iwobi, Willian, and Bernd Leno end up having great games and they steal points from us, then, that's just going to sum everything up about Arteta and his style of management. ESR was another one who was treated very badly. I'm glad he's escaped. And if ESR were to score the winning goal, oh boy, there would be hell to pay. And as far as City and Newcastle are concerned, I think there's only one story. We saw a little silhouette of a man, Marmouche. He did the fandango.
Yeah, mate, I love that. Yeah, brilliant. But
I'll have to fandango my way back once then.
It just shows you get a good quality striker in that knows where the goal is. That's what happened. So that's one for you to look at, Arsenal with Arteta and all that. Get a proper striker in and you'll score goals. But there we go. What do you make of this one, Warren? Because obviously, do you want to do this before you go? Or
I'll just have a quick word about this one. It just shows for me what happens when you have someone who knows what they're doing, who's managing the team.
Yeah.
He knows that he has to have a striker, so he goes and gets one.
Yeah.
It's just simple, isn't it, really? It's not rocket science.
Yeah, but
and it just it winds me up intensely. But fair play to them, they got the win. Good 4-0 victory against a very good side, Newcastle. Yeah. I think Eddie Howe, I actually quite rate the fella.
Mm.
Don Howe's son as well. I don't know if you knew that.
Is he Don Howe's son? Yeah.
Mm.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's a good manager, mate, honestly. And, I think at some point, it wouldn't surprise me if he became England manager.
Yeah. I said about that in the past, about him becoming England manager. I think he could be a good one.
I think he's got the right attributes for the job.
Mm.
He's
there for what is he, a year or something? Has he only got 1 year there or 2 years?
I don't know. But the thing is, mate, at the end of the day, the FA have got a track record of not appointing the right men, haven't they? Now, let's be honest about it. I mean, back in the day, in the 70s, they should have appointed Brian Clough when they had the chance.
Oh, yeah.
But they didn't do it because they were scared of him. Yeah.
Yeah, don't like was it not a yes man, I should say. He wouldn't have, wouldn't have danced their tune, would he? He would have,
He would have revolutionised. That was the story. He always said that they were scared that he was going to go in there and revolutionise English football, and he said they were right. Because he would have done.
He had his own ideas, his own man, and he knew what he wanted, not what he wanted to do. And
see, this wouldn't happen in any other country, would it?
No.
Do you know what I mean? I just don't understand why the English FA behave like this. It's like it's crazy. But anyway, that's another story.
Yeah.
But yeah, good win for Man City. Whether they've turned the corner and they're going to go on a massive run or not, that's another question. But it was a good win for them against Newcastle because, like I said, that Newcastle team, I think they're a good side.
They are a very good team. They knocked us out of the Carabao Cup.
No, they knocked us out of it and all.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, they will do because we haven't played the second leg yet, but we're 2-0 down and it's not looking good, is it?
No. But anyway, do you want to shout your socials out there, Warren? Because I'll see.
Yeah, thank you, mate. All right, you can basically find me on Warren's Team Talk YouTube channel. I'm also on X. I'm on X and on Instagram, Blue Sky, and yeah, I think that's about it as well. I'm on Threads as well. So yeah, check me out. Every Saturday I do a show that starts 2:30 in the afternoon, where we look at all the scores as they're coming in, up and down the country. That's always a good laugh. It's a bit like a light-hearted look at the world of football and what's going on. So yeah, that's always really good fun. So yeah, thanks for having me on, Mr. B.
No worries, mate. Anytime. You're welcome anytime, Warren.
I'm sorry that I went on a bit at times, and I'm sorry about some of the language and stuff. But I just got really angry.
It don't matter for the time being. You're allowed to go on a bit longer this time, but next time I'm going to make it stricter, mate. You know.
But it's just I get really angry when I'm talking about that RTSFC thing.
We all
infuriates me.
When we're not happy about something, we go on, don't we? But yeah, we like to rant, and that's, you're no different. No one's any different with that. So, but yeah, mate, thanks for coming on again, bro. And as I say, anytime, mate. And we're doing obviously the thing this week, the next prediction show.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll have a chat about when we're going to do it.
Yeah, goodbye, Warren. Thanks a lot for coming on, but I'm going to have to drop out and come back. I'll see you again soon.
Okay, mate, no worries. But yeah, we got the prediction show, and possibly Thursday. Are you able to do it Thursday, Warren? Earlier on?
Sounds good to me.
About 1 o'clock or so, or later?
Yeah, maybe just a bit after that. Maybe like 2, something like that.
Yeah, cool, mate. No probs, That'd be brilliant. Looking forward to it. We sort the points thing out. I'm still, my head's still hurting from that, mate. Trying to understand that. But oh, mate, my head's going round about all that. But no, we get it sorted, mate. And anyway, you take care of yourself, mate. And I'll see you obviously on Thursday and all that, and talking to DMs and stuff and the chats and everything, chat rooms. Okay, mate.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Mr. B. It's been great. Thank you. I really appreciate it. Thanks, mate. Take care, and I'll speak to you soon.
Anytime, bro. Take care, mate.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Cheers, bro. Thanks.
Cheers, mate. Bye-bye.
Cheers. And we're down to just us two, Manny. There are two, just the two. And we're going to talk about this one a bit longer. I mean, did you want to add anything more to this one? It was a massive win to City, wasn't it, in the end? Who'd have thought it against Newcastle, to be honest? Real shock.
But here's the thing, though. I seriously don't know if they'll be able to go on a bit of a run now, because we have to face the facts that this particular City team have reached the end of the cycle, and many players are going to have to leave, and it will go through a period of regeneration before it can, go back to its former glory. And even then, it's not a guarantee that it will happen immediately. I want to say, of course, that City have been able to sign a good player in Marmoush, and Nico Gonzalez has proven to be quite essential. I think the defender Husanov still has a lot to prove after a pretty poor start against Chelsea, but maybe there is something there for City to work with in the future. But there are several players, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Edison, and a few others who played their last game for the club. And now Newcastle, I think, once again, just show that they don't really have the consistency to see them emulate their Champions League finish this time around. But I think it's clear, obvious to me that they've got one eye on winning some silverware against Liverpool, and maybe they're trying to focus a bit more on that. It could be a theory, but we'll see how it turns out. I don't want to speak too much about this. I will say that you have to feel sympathy for Sven Botman and Botman. I think he was unavailable. It was Fabian Schär and Dan Burn who played. After all, they're just two poor boys from two poor families. Spare them their lives from Manchester City.
Yeah, I like that, mate. Yeah, you put that in the thing the other day, the chat, didn't you? Group chat and that. Yeah.
And once again, for me, it's easy come, easy go. As easy as I come, as easy as I have to go again. But you can talk about this one, and I'll just join you.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, be up to you, Harry. Thanks for coming in, bro. Be up, guys, just in time before the end of the stream. Yeah, it won't be much longer now, mate. Great content. Keep it going. Yeah, it won't be much longer, brother, because obviously time's getting on, and I only wanted to go for an hour, really, but it looks like it'd be more 2 hours, but no problem. And obviously I think there's a match tonight. I don't know. I think there is, but I can't remember what it is. I'm not sure it's Premier or anything, but yeah, I can't remember now. But is there a match tonight, Manny? Can you remember if there is? I can't remember if there is a match or anything tonight. Is it Champions League or anything tonight, or?
Nothing tonight, I'm afraid.
Right, yeah.
I think Aston Villa will be playing Liverpool on Wednesday, but that's pretty much it.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get on to
wait
this
a minute,
one.
not tonight, but tomorrow.
Champions League.
The second legs of
We do have a game. Oh, yeah, that's right.
will be.
Leeds and
I can't see Real Madrid losing at the Bernabeu.
That's right, yeah. They're definitely through Real Madrid, I think. Definitely. And poor Southwick, I think, will be out as well. So I know they got it back to 2-1, but I can't see Bayern relinquishing that lead somehow. So, I'm afraid they're out. The boys, I'm afraid to say that, Warren. I know you were in here and you love Celtic, but I'm afraid they're out, mate. Against Bayern. Yeah, Leeds and Sunderland. That's the one tonight. I knew there was one. Should be a good game. This actually, Leeds and Sunderland. They're both near the top, aren't they? Well, Leeds are top. Are they top, or they were top on stage? So, yeah. But back to this, the South Coast Derby. No, great win for the Cherries there, Manny. Brilliant. Going from strength to strength.
No real surprise, to be honest. I mean, the Cherries are flying high, and it would have been a shame, really, if they didn't take anything out of this. But Southampton were never going to provide much resistance. I know that Kamaldeen Sulemana, absolute quality, he got them back in it. And I wouldn't be surprised if he, along with the likes of Tyler Dibbling and others, end up leaving the club once they get relegated. As far as Bournemouth are concerned, they're showing a lot of ruthlessness and they're not letting up. And they don't show any signs of having a dip anytime soon. But we will, of course, take a look at the run-in and see how, they fare. And we'll certainly see how things transpire in that regard. But obviously, Warren was waxing lyrical about Eddie Howe. And look, I think, to be fair, he's certainly a future candidate for the England job. If things with Tommy Tickle, as he calls him, don't work out. But I do like Tuchel. I think he'll be a good appointment. And obviously, and I will have. We disagree on a lot of things, Warren and I, more than what you'd expect. But we always have debates on this. And, several of these players for Bournemouth are just having terrific games. And Ramsdale, obviously, being Southampton Star's former club. But once again, it looks as though the one-time Arsenal keeper will end up having another relegation. His fourth at club level.
Yeah. He's a bad omen, isn't he? Old Ramsdale. Whoever gets in seems to go down. But I think they were going to go down anyway. You can't really just blame him. I think Southampton are always going to be going down, weren't they, to be honest? Not all his fault. But I think player of the match there, Ryan Christie, had a great game, didn't he? For Bournemouth.
Yep, he did. He definitely did.
Yeah, you think he's an unsung hero, underrated player? Are you there? Mate?
I wouldn't say unsung. He's been at Bournemouth for quite some time now. I'm here. We'll see if my mic is working or not. It says it still is. And Ms. B said it perfectly. Don't sign Aaron Ramsdale.
No, we're not.
Yeah.
We'd rather keep Flecken and get him. Yeah. We're settled for Flecken over him, I think.
That's saying something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
we know how you feel about them Dutch keepers. Quite.
Yeah. But we as you say though, they got some players here, serious players, Bournemouth, and Sulemana. He's quality, I think. And he's Southampton, isn't he? What am I talking about? I'm trying to think of we obviously got Cliver was amazing again. Cliver, Semenyo, quality, Ratara, Kirkis. The list goes on there, doesn't it? I mean, you got some great players there. Zabani, Hussein. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, what a team there, Manny. Can they keep hold of most of these players, would be the question. Do you think they can keep hold of a lot of these?
Well, it remains to be seen. I think securing European football will be high on their agenda. They're also into the fifth round of the FA Cup and should be able. Yeah, I mean, they're through to the FA Cup round and should go quite far. I think at the end of the season they'll take stock because some of these players as well have enhanced their reputation so much that bigger clubs will come in calling for them, just like Spurs went in for Solanke. Hasn't necessarily worked out for him, but I think he has shown some glimpses of his quality. Just a shame that injuries have, made it a kind of stop thing for him. But might struggle to keep a lot of these players, especially if bigger clubs come calling for them. So if they qualifying for Europe will be essential.
Yeah, I think they can. I think they're going to get into Europe the way they're going. I really do. I think they've been an incredible team. Them and could you argue them and Forest have been the teams of the season? Really, in the Premier, surprise of the season, both of them.
You mean Bournemouth and Forest? No, I think they've both been outstanding. And we'll be looking, obviously, to see how we're lucky to have qualified for the Champions League because they started magnificently last season. They were top of the league at one point. And they obviously had an injury and drop in form like they had this season, but they recovered well and were worthy of being there. These teams, I think even if they do suffer a dip in form, I'd like to think that Bournemouth have enough for them to bounce back. This will be a test time for them, and we'll see how things go. But obviously, we've got this big game to discuss. And all I can say is, in the words of that famous song, I'm sure you wish you were in their number. Bees came in.
Yeah. Well, we were certainly buzzing there, mate. I tell you, we were buzzing, and we could have had more. We could have had at least two more with Vissa. Shame they turned out to be offside. Only narrowly, inches, I think, offside, but they were, unfortunately. But, I mean, I think we deserved this. I think we were superb in the first half, really were. Amazing. And Shardy's goal, capped off great performance from him, I thought. Our smooth operator, mate. Smooth operator. He's a smooth operator. Yeah, but I better not sing anymore because I'll lose some bloody people, won't I? Subs and that, members. So I won't sing anymore. But but no, I think he had a great game, and I think Mbomo, quality again, Vissa, Damsgaard, all played really well. Our defence was good, solid. I thought Collins was great, brilliant. Vandenberg, very good, quality. He's got injured, unfortunately. Hope that's not serious. Really hope it's not serious. But we got Pinnock on the way back. He was there and he came on, I think. So it won't matter too much, maybe. And you got Coyotes come in right back. So looking good, mate. Looking good for us, A good away win. We're doing well away.
Kevin Shadday gave you the away from home.
Yeah. Good player, mate. Great player. And I think a lot of teams were after him, actually, as well. So we've done well to keep hold of him, really. And a lot of these players. So they was all interested, weren't they? They was in after Vissa, Damsgaard. They're all after him. So, and Bomo. Do well to keep hold of them, I think, in the summer. I want Bomo to sign an extension, mate. That's what I want. That's what I love. And Vissa, really. They can do that. I think we can do even better next season. Let's keep the nucleus of this team, this great team we got now. Keep it, Don't sell. Don't keep selling. We don't have to be a selling team anymore. We don't have to be. But if they go, let's get some big money for them. That's what
Hopefully not. The problem is, unless you get the revenue you need, unless they need, the reality is that unless teams get the revenue they need, any which way, stars all going to be on their backs, and they will have to play. I mean, Bournemouth could very well end up selling some players, maybe Newcastle. There's been talk that Isak could be let go for under 100 million. I don't know if that's going to be the case. I think if they do secure European football, then maybe they'll have some leverage, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, and what do you make of West Ham though? Do you think they could come out of this with part of their? I think with Slopotegui or Flopotegui, I think they were in real danger of nearly relegation. But I think with Potter, I think they should be safe, didn't you? I think they go up, get out of this.
They're going to be safe full stop because Hampton, Leicester and Ipswich are just so poor right now and they can't buy points to keep them alive that I don't think West Ham are going to get relegated. But I think the honeymoon period is starting to get a bit sour for Potter and he's going to have to make sure that his team bounce back hard. But but West Ham should be fine under him, I think. And maybe Potter's, repairing his reputation after that, disaster class at Chelsea. And it's good to see.
Yeah. I think they'll be safe, but I'm happy about that win anyway. And we got Leicester next, so Should be another 3-pointer, you would think, Manny, wouldn't you? Away at Leicester, you would think. That's this Friday.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so
Definitely.
no
excuses for not getting anything against Leicester.
Yeah, the away form is great now. Let's sort out the home form again. It's gone down. It's dipped, our home form, unfortunately. But once we get that sorted out, I think we'll be in that. I think we could get at least top 7, 8, maybe. Possibly. I love it. But who knows? But yeah, getting on to this game, Palace and Everton, Manny. Another great win for Everton. They're getting the results again, you know?
Yeah. Once again, Everton showing that life under Moyes is definitely sweet.
Yeah.
And a bit of a setback for Glasner, really. But again, he's also got to consider that maybe he doesn't quite have the best squad to work with. But Crystal Palace were at one point in danger of being relegated themselves, and now they've recovered very well to be in a solid mid-table position. But we were hoping, expecting them to really, be in with a shout for bigger things this season. It didn't quite turn out that way, so the squad will need to be improved. But I think Everton are, really on the right track, and maybe they could finish in the top half of the table. Who knows?
Yeah, they're not getting stuck.
Fine performance from them, and I think they just they did obviously what they had to do the way they did it, and a well-earned 3 points for them, really. I'll be
definitely.
Right back, Steve.
Yeah, no worries, mate. No worries. Yeah, so Beto got man of the match there. He had a good game there. They need a striker. Calvert-Lewin out again. Yeah, again injured. So that hasn't helped them. But Beto is there and he's getting the goal. So, and as well as others, of course, Alcaraz scored. Well, Alcaraz, I should say. Nobody could escape from him. Palace couldn't escape from Alcaraz, and he got the second goal. So, but yeah, great performance from Everton yet again. And they'll definitely be safe this season by the looks of it. And I think that's about it, is it? Oh, yes, Sunday, of course. Let's go to Sunday's games. And big win for Liverpool. A bit closer than I think we all thought it would be against Wolves, this 2-1. But another win. And they extend the lead from Arsenal, Manny. They extend the lead here, Liverpool, to 7 points. It was a close game in the end, 2-1.
Yep. Yeah, pretty close. And obviously Liverpool did slack off a little bit in the second half, but, again, they just held. And in many ways, Wolves were probably unlucky not to have gotten too much more from it. I think it was a well-taken goal by Cunha, and he also could have had another one from an excellent free kick. But Liverpool are somehow finding their way. But there is a reason why some of their fans are starting to fear a possible choke coming on. I haven't seen too many signs of a choke yet, and maybe this particular game was what they needed to get themselves back on track. Of course, they'll go to Villa Park this week on a Wednesday. And of last time around, near the end of the season, they drew 3-3 at Villa Park and could actually have lost that game with a topsy-turvy game. But although Villa do have a splendid home record, having only lost once to Arsenal this season, I think Liverpool will probably want to use that game as an opportunity to exercise their superiority over a Villa team that is just, at this particular point, in a bit of an injury-induced slump, but also are going through a period where they're playing 5 games in 14 days, and I think the schedule is sort of mucking them over in a way. And, it's sort of them against the world in a way. Can't have sympathy for them, although you'd like to, though. But Liverpool should beat Villa very easily. If Villa do end up beating West Ham, it'll be possibly one of the bigger shocks of the Premiership season. But then, this crazy league being what it is, all of these shocks are, par for the course, it must be said. And I think we've lost Steve for the moment. Maybe he's trying to sign back in. And Liverpool obviously needing a win to recover from the Merseyside derby, while Wolves are still, doing well under Vitor Pereira, and showing that they should end up being safe from relegation after, sacking Gary O'Neill. It just goes to show that sacking Gary was, sadly for him, but fortunately for Wolves, it was the right decision in the end. And obviously, there are a couple of other games to get through. I think this is actually the second to last one. We will be talking about Spurs and United later on to end everything. And I'll wait, of course, for Steve to come back. He does seem to be having some problems with his Wi-Fi, of course. And obviously, when it comes to the Spurs United game, I'll just provide a little bit of a preview. A lot of people weren't expecting Spurs to do very well, given that. Mr. B's back, and we'll continue our discussion on the Liverpool Wolves game if there's anything else to say. But
mate, by the way, the Wi-Fi is going a bit funny, unfortunately. But so I'll keep this brief now, and we just do.
I noticed, you can't trust Wi-Fi. But I've had my issues today as well, as you can see.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you're getting your laptop sorted, mate. I'm glad that's getting fixed, and you can get back to getting how you was before with it, and being on a lot longer, not going in and out all the time, innit? so that should be good, mate.
From your Lord's ears, Steve. From your lips to the Lord's ears.
Yeah, no worries, mate. And so I think with Liverpool though, I think that was another good win for them. It was a bit tighter than we all thought against Wolves. I thought they'd win easier than that. But, I think Wolves are still fighting. They may still stay up. They might avoid relegation, but I think it probably will be Leicester. Who else with Southampton? In Ipswich, maybe. I think Wolves might just stay up. But I think Liverpool, it's theirs to lose still, this title.
I completely agree, and I think the Liverpool-Arsenal game at Anfield will pretty much go some way to determining where the title could go. The only problem is, both teams have a responsibility to keep their heads at this stage in the season.
Yeah. And I think they got to keep hold of Cunha, Wolves, if they're going to do anything to stay up. I mean, I think he may go in the summer. It's possible. He could go somewhere. But if they keep him now, at least to keep him up, I think he's one of their best players, really, Cunha, really. So they've got to keep hold of him, really. Could you see Arsenal getting him in the summer, Manny? You think they could go after him?
I'm not holding my breath for anything that Arsenal do, Steve. If these transfer windows are to go by, we'll buy some, we'll buy some git and try and gas him up as something wonderful. He'll have a few good games and then do sweet. But wherever Cunha goes, I think he'll do very well.
Yeah, but we move on to the last game now, and that's Spurs 1, Man United 0. I think you were talking a little bit about this briefly when I came back, but fine win for Tottenham, but Man United looking, well, crap again. Shit, really, wouldn't they? About what's going on with him.
Yeah. Yeah, first of all, big up to our friend Eugene who did a watch along, and it was a special watch along because on the day of the match there was actually a protest against Daniel Levy and the Enoch group conducted by Spurs fans, and supposedly went off very well. And the message is that whatever happens on the field, it's got to be Levy out because Levy really is, the poison that's really sickening at the moment. And if memory serves me right, the last time Spurs played at home, they suffered a horrible reverse to Ruud van Nistelrooy's Leicester City. But this time around, Van Nistelrooy's former club couldn't, repeat that. And there's another reason why I say that maybe United let go of the wrong manager, one of their own. Of course, Leicester will still be, primed to go down. I'm not necessarily too sure you can all blame Van Nistelrooy for that, but he just hasn't reached the results that they need. And it just hasn't really worked out. But he did a better job at United really than Amorim is doing right now. And the team, they just look devoid of confidence. They've had injuries. Ahmad out for the season. They had a bench. They named the bench even younger than Arsenal's match day benches. And I think, in as much as United did have their chances, they forced the returning Vicario into making some good saves. You have to balance of play. Spurs were the better team, and it was a fine goal taken by Maddison. And of course, if you're a big fan of darts, and I do believe you are, given you enjoyed watching Bullseye over the years, that celebration has to be iconic. The dart throwing. I wonder if Maddison actually does play darts away from the field and how well he does. Maybe he should have used 180th in time. Maybe he's had a starter. I don't know. But definitely on target when needed. And the headline says it there. Matthews Tell also had a pretty decent game after scoring against Aston Villa in the FA Cup. And Kevin Danso also looked pretty good. Maybe Spurs might be starting to turn the corner. Of course, they've only got the Europa League to aim. Would be a huge shock if they do go on a very long run and somehow I don't think they could possibly win it, but if they do, I mean, it's going to be a magnificent story. But maybe once things settle down and if they're able to climb back high up the table and finish in the top half and maybe perhaps snatch a European place, maybe things will calm down a bit. Warren said it, Ange isn't the problem and sacking him won't make a difference to the fortunes of the club. But as far as Amorim's concerned, I think it's fair to say, as I always say, he never ever should have left Sporting Club de Portugal to come to Manchester United. Why would anyone want to come to United now? Boggles my mind.
Yeah, they're in a real shit way, United. Why would anyone go there, as you say? It's who wants to take it on? It's a poison chalice, really, now, unfortunately. But yeah, it's gone there.
And I'm sorry, Fitz. I know you don't like me saying that, but I just think the way things are going right now, United are in a bit of a worse way than they were under Ten Hag at the beginning of this season, and a lot of work will have to be done. So Spurs didn't have any chance in the second half. But apparently he didn't have any finishes. I wonder why, Rich. I wonder why.
They're guilty like Arsenal, not getting a proper striker. A decent striker to put things away, innit, at the end of the day. So that's possibly what it is. But yeah, the ones they have got, Højlund, I mean, he just don't look full of confidence at all to do anything. Kirkes. They just can't seem to finish. So, Xerxes, not Kirkes. What am I talking about? Xerxes. I mean, not Kirkes. Xerxes. Sounds similar, but yeah. Xerxes, yeah, he don't seem good enough. What have they got there that's really capable? I mean, I think Garnacho has moments where he can do something. You know, likes of Mainu, he's still quality. Ahmad, they have got some good players there, but I don't know. They're just not gelling, are they? For some reason.
Nope.
United are cutting first team players, so not expecting much from this season. No, it's a shame, Rich. But what did you make of the summer? They had the Dorgu and all that playing. I don't know what did you make of him, Manny? Do you think he was anything special or not? Or
I think he's got potential. He can do jobs. Probably too early to really touch him and say that he can, you know, really a good buy. We'll have to see how well he does, and he has to obviously play a lot more in that left back position. Having someone like him who's left-footed and who can will always be a bonus. None of this instance. I think, you know, Diego struggled there. Not sure if Mircea Maui is down there. Maybe Dorgu will do well.
Yeah. But on the other side of that, Spurs, Jed Spence was superb. I thought quality.
Oh yes. I said that Brentford had him. We should have gotten him. And maybe Spence, bullet by not joining Arsenal, knows how Arteta likes to treat his better left back. And Postecoglou was clear out of him. Conte made it clear that he wanted to do with him. And I think you know that is something and given a great deal of credit in some ways. He's trying to sort of find a system which works, and maybe he's some players that from it. But Spurs still have a lot of work to do to from the position they're in right now.
Yeah, and obviously Maddison scoring the only goal and shushing Roy Keane allegedly for what he'd said about him. Apparently.
Roy Keane. I don't want to say anything about him except quote a famous Irish joke by the name of Dion Manning. Roy Keane is a self-obsessed, relentlessly narcissistic, hypocritical bore. One of the worst that Ireland has produced, and definitely the worst that Ireland has produced in a very long time. I have no time for him at all. He has the nerve to, you know, berate a lot of the players he worked with when he was assistant manager of the Republic of Ireland, including John Walters, who spoke about undergoing some very traumatic personal issues, very deep, you know, personal things. But at the same time, he's still bitter about the way he was axed by Manchester United and how they still got the years of service wrong in his press statement. He has the nerve to criticise Ireland at every single opportunity, saying that, you know, they didn't deserve to qualify for the 2010 World Cup, cheated out by France. But he's still bitter about the Saipan controversy in 2002. You know, attitude determines your attitude, and for a guy like him, you know, carried himself the way he did, who behaved the way he did, bashing Alfie Hall's knee in his career, and getting involved in some really ugly stuff. You know, I don't have sympathy. I know Warren like him a great deal. I don't. And I'd say it serves him well that he didn't get to play in the 1999 Champions League final or the 2002 World Cup. Really, you know, not a hypocrite who has no morals or scruples. And all that. And I know Celtic won't do this, but I'm reminded of the ex-Rangers Scotland goalkeeper Andy Gorham, Lord rest his soul, who bizarrely came to Manchester United on a shock loan deal after Ferguson said he needed an emergency keeper. And during a training session, Gorham actually was playing a five-a-side game with Keane in the team, and also in the team was a youngster by the name of Luke Chadwick. Now, Gorham said, I pride myself on the accuracy of kicking, and I remember, you know, kicking it and landing a peach right next to Luke Chadwick's leg. He connected with it. He got it, but he ended up skying the ball over the top. But a better player would probably have, hit the target, but he was in the better position at the time. I couldn't pass to Keane for that reason. So this idiot Keane saw it fit to, confront Gorham after the game, and I think he might have put his hand on his shirt and said, "Hey, you! If I say that I should get the ball from you, give me the ball, okay? Give me the effing ball." But then Gorham pushed back and say, "Well, you like to get the ball all the time because you're Roy Keane? Jog on and do one." And I don't want to use the F word because again, I don't want to run the risk of your stream being demonetized or whatever. And that spineless git Gary Neville even walked up to him and later on said, "Goalie, we don't speak to Roy like that ever." And Gorham said something to the effect of, "Maybe you don't, but I'm not going to have any of that from him." And so I credit Andy Gorham for having the balls, as it were, to stand with Keno. He was a character, a bit of a nutter at times with his own antics off the field, but a damn fine goal. May the Lord rest his taken far too soon.
Yeah, very good keeper actually. A rarity for Scotland having a very good keeper because they're generally pretty poor, weren't they, most of them? But he's quality.
Jim Leighton was some good quality. Craig Gordon is still magnificent. I mean, I understand if you're talking about Angus Gunn, who's literally Tommy Gunn for me, while Craig Gordon is a bit like Rocky Balboa. That's Rocky Fire scoreline for you, mate.
Yeah, mate. But do you think he would have knocked out Roy Keane though? That's the thing.
If Keane tried to step out of line, I'm sure Gorham would have decked him. And Gorham was a talented sportsman who also played cricket for Scotland, and but he had to choose football because Walter Smith said, "I don't want you to go out and bat and run the risk of being knocked on the head or something like that." And I tell you what, people look at Keane as some sort of a hard man, but if he were in a 1v1 versus Mick McCarthy, I think McCarthy would slap him around. And if he were to come up against any rugby union or hurling players, Lord have mercy on the Corkman.
Yeah, definitely.
Real hard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But but anyway, we're gonna have to go, mate, because I've been on here 2 hours 28 minutes now. I didn't want it to go on as long as this, to be honest, but it's been a great show again. Enjoyed it. Been a great stream. Plenty to discuss, obviously. And there is obviously the small matter of Champions League tomorrow and Wednesday, I believe. And obviously there's also the other thing, the Conference League and all that. So, so will Man City, I think they're out, surely, tomorrow. No chance against Real Madrid coming back. Do you think? I don't think so.
But here's the thing, though. We obviously had Del Boy in the chat earlier. Shamrock Rovers have a chance of going through to the next stage of, I think it's the Conference League. So I don't know if I'll be getting coverage of that, but I will hope to watch it, and I will be cheering for Shamrock. I know, obviously, Irish friends will have different, club loyalties back in among the League of Ireland teams. But, and maybe there'll be some rivalries there. I've got a mate who's a fan of Bohemians, another one, Shelburne, and of course, there are several other clubs, but obviously I'll hope to watch. I think Warren doesn't seem to like Andy Gorham very much, and I will say that Gorham wasn't in many ways. He wasn't a saint, but that's another example of how Warren disagree on a lot of things.
It's still sad that he passed away, of course, because he had cancer, didn't he? Was it cancer? Yeah.
Yes, throat cancer, and he also had his demons off the field. His private life was not the best, and it was definitely the subject of tabloid fodder in Scotland and the rest of the UK. But again, I think he was trying to sort himself out, and then cancer came and took him. So yeah, it's always sad. You don't want to. You cannot just continue to have a grudge against people when they're literally walking in the valley of the shadow of death.
Yeah, was a shame, and but yeah, there's those to come, the Champions League and everything. Obviously, Celtic, I'm afraid to say, Warren, I don't think you've got a chance against Bayern Munich. Looks like they're out probably as well. I know it's 2-1, but you can't seriously see them doing anything there. Surely.
I'll be right back, Steve.
Okay, mate. No worries. Yeah, sorry to say it, Warren. I think you lot are gone, Celtic. Yeah, I'd love it if you can cause an upset, a shock, surprise there, but really can't see it, I'm afraid. Against Bayern, what they've got to what you got. I mean, you're still a very good team, Celtic a good team. They've got some decent players, but they're not quite Bayern's level. So, unfortunately, mate, I think you're gone. I think you're out. Probably City and Celtic are both gone, really, you could say. But yeah, obviously we got other stuff to come. I won't be doing that much tomorrow. I doubt if I'll be doing a stream or anything tomorrow. It's actually my birthday tomorrow, so I'll be going out celebrating and stuff, enjoying it, having a relaxing day on my birthday. So I won't be doing a stream, really. His politics were despicable, involved with far right, no sympathy for him. Singing about his knees in Venetian blood. Oh, right. Okay, mate. Yeah. I see what you mean there. But, yeah. We all have our opinions of people, living or dead, obviously. Yeah. There's a lot I don't like that have obviously passed away. I do say don't speak ill of the dead, but, you had strong opinions of them. It's like Maradona. I hated the guy, and, now he's dead, I still hate him even more. What he done with handball and all the other stuff he done against England and things like that, I couldn't stand the guy. He was a great player as he was. He was a genius, but he was also a wanker, an arsehole. Couldn't stand the guy. And he never apologised for that either, the handball against England. Never apologised. And I'm afraid, in a way, I hope he may have gone to hell, but knowing him, he probably will still end up in heaven. So he did end up there, unfortunately. Oh, sorry, Manny, I was just talking about Maradona there. Because Warren was talking about, Andy Gorham.
I also saw what Warren said about Gorham, and I did say that Gorham was no angel. And I've also made it crystal clear that anyone who, contributes to this sort of sectarian stuff between Celtic and Rangers in those games, you cannot in any way condone that. And I don't condone that. I've never said that Gorham was perfect in any way. I even despise the sectarian chanting that goes on where, at Rangers games, they literally tell Celtic fans to go back to Ireland because the famine's over. And they also have this ugly no surrender to the IRA. But it's horrible. If players are involved in that, you have to condemn that as well. And I say thank you, Warren, for reminding us of that. But I just said my opinion on Roy Keane, and maybe Warren will disagree with me on that. But that's why we learn, we agree and learn from each other about things, and hopefully maybe we can all learn something from this. I definitely can.
Well, as I was saying about Maradona there, man, he, as much as he was a genius as a footballer, great player, he was an arsehole. He was an absolute shit arse, I think.
I mean, he and Luis Suarez, the tech hates when it comes to football. Can't stand either of those two.
No. So, you know, I know they do say don't get it dead, but
Steve,
go.
Steve, I've actually, you know, with some of my mates, I actually, you know, sort of had an exercise of to create a bad boy 11 of absolute, you know, ne'er-do-wells and miscreants. I might share that with you sometime. Maybe you can offer your thoughts as to who might or might not be on your team, if you like.
Yeah, definitely, mate. Definitely. Yeah. Probably some right shit houses on that, isn't there? Yeah. I wonder if Neil Mopay might actually be on it as well.
Absolute. Well, nice.
Definitely. But as I say, I ain't got much coming up tomorrow because it's actually my birthday, so I'll be out celebrating, although it's another year older, which I'm looking forward to. I don't think anyone does now, but well, certainly when you get out your 20s or whatever, 30s, no one does enjoy it, do they? So, but there we go. So, got that. I'll sort of celebrate that in a way. But yeah, obviously, I'll be back, obviously, possibly for a Wednesday or Thursday. I know I'm going to do a cricket preview, but I think that'll be Friday probably because the game is Saturday, isn't it, against Australia? So I'll probably do that Friday. Obviously, got all the other ones coming up. The preview for the game against Leicester. Well, it should be probably Thursday. I would think I'll do that Thursday. Might get someone on. Might do. Might get Chris on. He may come on to talk about that. If not, I might find another Foxes fan, but I'm sure he might do. And we're going to all that. But for another, what's this, 2 hours, 37-minute stream, I'm going to hand over to Manny to share out his socials. Where can we find you, fella?
Well, first of all, big up to you, Steve, for hosting the stream, and big up to Warren for joining in earlier and also continuing to be in the chat. And big up to Rich Sports and Kevin Findlay and several others who were in the chat. Bellboy especially, Honeygun, and one or two others. Thanks a lot for being a part of this and making the stream what it is. You can catch me here on the Buzz, as he calls it, and also on the channel where we chat England cricket. As he's mentioned, England make their Champions Trophy against an Australian team that are not really in the best state, but you know they love playing against us, so I wouldn't be surprised how pull the chestnuts out of and give us a right good, ass kicking. Hopefully. But you know, Steve and I will be talking about that, and as he's mentioned, of course, there's a lot of football. Champions League tomorrow and on Wednesday. Championship in Sunderland, as Harry in the chat. And also Aston Villa against Liverpool on Wednesday. I fear a massacre at Villa Park, unless Villa is now silly special. And more sport to come in the coming days as well. And certainly a lot more talking points and a lot more content for Steve and others to create. Looking forward to it. Of course, it is Monday, the start of a new week, and I hope you're all doing well and making the best of it. And I hope you all enjoy this week up ahead. And I hope you also had a good Valentine's weekend. It was Friday and then Saturday and Sunday, obviously. For people like me who are single, there's nothing much to celebrate when it comes to Valentine's Day. But it is what it is, really. And nothing much else to say, except I hope you enjoy all the sports to come later on. And I hope you all have a very productive week. Take care of yourselves, as always. Be safe and be happy. And as I was about to say, you can catch me on several other channels, including on Warren's Team Talk and also on Rich Sports, who are here in the chat, and several others that are all very important to me. And as always, if they don't believe me when I tell them that they're important to me, there will be a check in the post. I don't want to spend too much time now listing all of them. Del Boy Gunner TV was also in the chat. Big up to him. Not going to ignore him. And nothing much else to say except, as always, take care of yourselves. Be safe, be happy, do unto others as you'd have others do unto you. And don't do anything that Mr. B or I wouldn't do. But until then, farewell to thee, goodbye, God bless to all of you. And once again, my volume's gone, so I'm going to have to be gone as well. But we'll definitely see you all again very soon. And I've also got a bit of a cough, and I need to get some cough syrup down my throat. Bye, everyone.
Yeah. Take care, Manny. Take care and get your throat sorted, mate. And thanks to him once again, and to Warren, obviously coming on earlier. Warren's Team Talk. Go and check his channel out. Fantastic channel. I've got it all on here. He's obviously, I put it on there. He's one earlier. There it is there at Warren's Team Talk. Follow him there. And obviously he's got others as well, other things, channels. He's got a mystery one, talking about aliens and other stuff. Hitler. Got one about Hitler at the moment, which is a great one. You know, be sure to check that out. Fantastic stream, that one. You know, check that out. It's brilliant. And he's got plenty of other things he does, especially the Saturday one. I enjoy that. I love watching his Saturday thing, talking about all the scores, going through all the scores and stuff. Bit like a grandstand from years gone, retro, you know. He's a bit like Dickie Davids, you could say. Or what's that, Steve Ryder, whatever. You know, giving out all the scores and stuff. So it's almost like, you know, you think he'd have an earpiece in and go around all the grounds and talking to someone like Chris Kamara or something, you know. That'd be great. I could be there, couldn't I? I could be there with an earpiece on at a ground. I could be at the Bees, couldn't I? The G-Tech. He could throw over to me and go, and here's Mr. B. He's at the G-Tech. You know, for the Brentford game, the Bees game. What's going on there, Steve? What's going on there, Mr. B? I don't know, Warren. I didn't see it. What's going on? There's a player sent off. I didn't see it, Warren. I didn't see it. Be something like that, wouldn't it? So that'd be good. But still waiting for my check, man. Yeah. He's got quite a few to write out there, Warren. You know, a lot of checks, mate. So, yeah, check, mate. Yeah, that's a good one, isn't it? That was a quick joke, wasn't it? Check, mate. Yeah. It'd be like chess then, wouldn't it? But that'd be brilliant if I had something like that, where you could go around the grounds. I used to love all that on grandstand and whatever. They do it to a degree on Sky Sports and that, but I don't like it now. I'm not as into that on Sky. And you get some bloody Muppets on there, fucking useless twats on there, ex-players and all that. Can't stand. Still got Merson, which is good. It's quite funny with him on there, but no Jeff Sterling, no Chris Kamara anymore. It's just not the same. And, you know, they haven't got like the old lot. Caster, Johnny Nicholas, Phil Thompson, Matt Letizia. They really made that. Frank McClintock, of course. They were brilliant on there. Shame they got rid of him. You are a fucking legend, mate. Well, cheers. Cheers, Warren. Yeah. Thanks, man. So you definitely are as well. I'm going to be going in a little while to get my head round what you done with them points, mate, for that show, for the league prediction thing. But, you know, my fucking head's going round, mate. It's fucking spinning round after trying to work that out. But anyway, thanks for everyone that's been watching again. And this really has gone, this stream. It wasn't meant to do. I wasn't meant to go 2 hours 44. Which it is now. But as I say, follow me on Insta, Mr. B for Life 182, Mr. B Hive Football Chat, Mr. B Chats England Cricket. You know, follow all that. I think that was in the live chat. Warren put that in there, and I'll just go to that. Show you what he put here. That's for the cricket channel. Go and click on that. plenty of great content on there. Plenty more coming up with that. There's obviously for the Champions Trophy, where we'll probably get panned, get walloped as usual. England in that by the Aussies and all the rest. Afghanistan, South Africa, they'll probably all wallop us, no doubt, because we're shit, absolutely shit. And yeah, be up to Dell. Go and check his channel out there. Brilliant. Sub to him. Great bloke. Love to get on his channel again at some stage. It'd be great when he does another one. Does another stream. That'd be brilliant. And yeah, fantastic. Thanks, guys. And keep watching. Keep checking it all out. Keep subbing. Keep smashing the likes. Everything, As Manny was saying, thanks to everyone that did come in, Rich in the live chat, and of course Warren that was on the panel, as well as the live chat. Harry, of course, Dell himself, Luca, Kev. Be up to you all. Thanks for your support as usual and your love and everything, and keep it coming. For the rest of the year. Keep subbing to me and watching my shows. And I'm going to try and enjoy my birthday tomorrow. Yeah, even though I'm another year older. That'd be shit. But there we go. That's what happens, I'm afraid. You have to get older. And it's better to get older than not, isn't it? And get to an old age. So anyway, guys, I'm going to go. I'm going to bounce because it's taken so long and I want to watch football. I think it's Leeds and Sunderland now. That's kicked off. So I might as well watch that and get something to eat and enjoy the rest of the evening or night time as well. Anyway, guys, thanks for the time being. I'm out of here. Cheers, everyone. Bye.